The main character of this story is Lin Fan, although Lin Fan was defeated after just entering a battle. He was lovelorn, so he walked out to release his pain when he was hit by a car, and there was no one more tragic than him in the world. He was in so much pain, and a lot of his bones were broken, however, he didn't want to die. Suddenly, as he was about to die, a person emerged, said he wanted to live, then hurriedly signed the paper. After signing that paper, Lin Fan regained consciousness after his death. The Balala Genius system successfully landed, praising the system owner and promising to make him a world champion. Lin Fan lay still in the middle of the road, wondering what the heck was going on. The system displayed EXP points, which the owner might gain through surprised emotions, anger, or a variety of other emotions. Lin Fan thought that if given the option to live again, he should at least give it a shot, change his emotions abruptly, and gain express. In order to keep this life, Lin Fan had to do something that he never wanted. From the street, he crept closer to the girl, worriedly pushing his mouth up to bite the girl's hand. The girl's worry for Lin Fan turned into horror upon meeting a demon, and she fainted as well. However, the system informed him that he did not have enough points to heal the wound. Lacking strength, Lin Fan slowly crawled on the ground to a nearby bathroom and committed the same act he did with the girl, which caused everyone to scream in panic and run away. Lin Fan believed that if he did anything like this and it was transmitted to the outside world, his righteous life would be considered to be over. Lin Fan's next task was to find an affluent, populated area where he might steal a late-night dinner after his near-death. Lin Fan, who was covered in blood, entered a roadside diner to place an order. After watching him take the food and leave without paying, everyone assumed he was a gangster. This, in Lin Fan's opinion, was merely a minor step on his way to becoming a champion genius. Lin Fan had been a poor student at Shenzhen University ever since his father, a soldier, went missing. He had to go to school and work at the wonton restaurant every day. It was finally his 4th year, and he was going to graduate. Last night, he was saved by a magical system, and there was a massive battle that appeared to last 1,000 years. The owner of this wonton eatery was a friend of his father. When he arrived at work the next morning, everyone in the shop inquired why he looked so tired. Uncle Lee, the owner of the wonton restaurant, was worried that Lin Fan had stayed up late studying. It was difficult for young people to learn and work at the same time. In the kitchen, Lin Fan used his points to find a new talent. In the end, many wonton bowls were drawn. The system blamed Lin Fan's bad luck, but the remaining points were enough for him to draw one more time, so it asked him if he wanted to. Finally, Lin Fan gained talent this final time. At this time, Lin Fan's ex-girlfriend arrived with Xiao Chao, her new boyfriend, outside Baiki restaurant. The moment the new boyfriend came, he wanted to start preaching to Lin Fan about life's lessons. Although they were childhood sweethearts, a man would be worth kicking if he was also uncourageous, poor, and unable to afford a house after graduation. While the new boyfriend was criticizing Lin Fan for using such harsh words, Lin Fan took out his phone to record everything and wanted to post it online. Xiao Chao urged Lin Fan to immediately remove the video. However, Lin Fan jokingly said that he didn't know how to delete it because he was stupid. As the new lover heard it, he became even more furious and attempted to hit Lin Fan by grabbing his shirt. But shortly after, Lin Fan gave Xiao Chao a light kick, sending him flying out of the eatery. Xiao Mei Mei, a third-year Shenzhen University student and the president of the Taekwondo Association, entered the restaurant at this moment. She was also Xiao Chao's sister. When the guy saw his sister walk in, he wanted her to take revenge on his behalf. Xiao Mei Mei took off her shoes before going to fight Lin Fan. Everyone in the room was amazed that she always wore such heavy shoes. At this point, even Lin Fan was stunned to learn that she was an F-level martial arts master. She struck Lin Fan in the face with no mercy. However, he managed to dodge it, leaving her puzzled as to how he managed to do so. Xiao Mei Mei was still confident. One more shot and he wouldn't be able to avoid it. At this moment, Lin Fan took the opportunity to counterattack, the genius of fist. Xiao Mei Mei was surprised that he could still counterattack in this situation. Then, Xiao Mei Mei released a move that included all of her strength. Lin Fan swore he couldn't fight back, so he asked Balala whether the system wasn't genius. Balala replied that it was a genius, not a champion, and that he had to rely on his own efforts to become invincible. Lin Fan hugged the arm that had just been struck and questioned why it hadn't told him earlier. Wait, he also seemed to have awoken something. Xiao Mei Mei stepped on Lin Fan with her foot, asking him to quickly apologize. Lin Fan, on the other hand, questioned why he had to apologize when her brother was the one who attacked first. Boss Lee asked the elderly man sitting next to him how he could explain to Lin Fan's father why his son was being bullied by a young girl in that way. Boss Lee was encouraged by the elderly man to pass it, and Lin Fan was powerless to resist when faced with an F level. But things quickly changed. Lin Fan pressed on Mei Mei's crypt while she didn't notice, and Xiao Mei Mei couldn't continue fighting, so Lin Fan won. Seeing that the situation was not good, Xiao Chao instantly begged for forgiveness, claiming that he had blind eyes. But Bai Qi warned Lin Fan not to expect that if he deserved to win, she would return to him and advised him not to be naive since the person she liked was Xiao Chao. Lin Fan didn't even look and claimed it was her choice. From now on, his attention would only be forward. The number of points in Lin Fan's system increased significantly, so he had to carefully consider how to use them. Currently, the price of acquired things had risen by one more zero, even more than the price of houses. If his score increased, the store would add more items, but only if there was a serious threat to his life. According to the terms of the contract, the system was not permitted to reveal any product information to the buyer. Lin Fan thought that he did not know the details of the item in advance, but that once acquired, the price would rise. Lin Fan would draw a bunch of wontons if he wasn't lucky. Lin Fan didn't know how to spend his points. He didn't know when the Xiao family would return to take their revenge, but with his current abilities, dealing with a Xiao Mei Mei was quite challenging. Lin Fan inquired with Balala about ways to improve his talent. Then it replied that there were two ways, but he would have to experiment on his own. The first way was to complete the task of the system, but the difficulty was very high, and temporarily there was still no way. The second way was to accumulate points to use the upgraded spring mushroom. Balala scolded him for a moment before it slipped its tongue. It was artificial intelligence, but it broke the contract. When the teacher noticed Lin Fan was still talking alone, he yelled angrily that if Lin Fan did not want to study, he should leave right away. Everyone in the class began joking that Lin Fan's girlfriend had just kicked him. After all, she was the school's beauty. How could she follow Lin Fan and suffer? The guy next to him told him not to think too much because there were still many nice things in the world. Xiao Mei Mei entered the classroom eager to study, and as soon as the teacher saw her, he immediately called her in. But how the hell did she get to the seat next to Lin Fan? After a while, Xiao Chao brought Wei Lian, an E-level martial arts instructor, with him. Xiao Mei Mei was shocked to see her master and her brother there. The class was astonished, and the teacher on the podium was searching for an excuse to leave. Everyone in the class who witnessed this appearance had the chance to discuss whether Lin Fan raised a fuss once more and how he dared touch them. Xiao Chao then reported to the teacher that Lin Fan had harassed Bai Qi, and after Lin Fan was spotted by Xiao Chao, Lin Fan aggressively beat 4 pupils at the wonton restaurant in front of the school gate. Wei Lian was so bold that he dared to break the school's rules. The teacher made the decision to suspend Lin Fan from school so he could look back. Nobody expected him to be that cowardly. Lin Fan was unsubmissive. In fact, they attacked Lin Fan first, and he only defended himself. Xiao Chao claimed to have security video in front of the school gate as evidence. The video showed Lin Fan throwing Xiao Chao out of the restaurant, and the 2 students who tried to stop him were also attacked. Xiao Chao laughed loudly. Lin Fan couldn't quibble with this clear evidence. He also knew that Lin Fan had a good relationship with Uncle Lee, the owner of the wonton restaurant. That wonton restaurant was Xiao Chao's homeland, and Uncle Lee owed his family a lot of money. Xiao Chao whispered in Lin Fan's ear that the restaurant could be shut down at any time. Xiao Chao, too, was not a person whose conscience was gnawed by dogs. He would offer Lin Fan the opportunity to go to the address he scribbled on the paper after school. Lin Fan did as that guy said after school. When Lin Fan arrived, he realized this was not a place for good students. Upon Xiao Chao spotting Lin Fan approaching, he wanted him to enter the ring and engage in combat with the person inside it for a match. If Lin Fan won, Xiao Chao would ignore this thing. But dropping school and taking down the restaurant was merely bait for Lin Fan to come here, to the underground arena that even the police couldn't manage. The demon on it was also a subordinate of Xiao Chao, and he would beat Lin Fan to death. Until then, Xiao Chao would continue to force Lin Fan to drop out of school and destroy the restaurant. This was the consequence of Xiao Chao's guilt. Lin Fan reasoned that he had to engage in this battle because, before his father disappeared, he had made a promise to him to complete college. After his father died, Uncle Lee always assisted him. He couldn't allow Uncle Lee to lose the restaurant. The man in the ring beat Lin Fan multiple times in a row during the fight, but in the end he was hit by Lin Fan, which made it too painful for him to continue fighting. Xiao Chao down below couldn't sit still. He got up and told the man in the ring to continue fighting right away. That man tried to regain his composure because he would lose if he went down in the ring. The demon was certain that he could use his power to employ knitting air fortune. Everyone watching from below was taken aback as they saw the devil in the gas artillery for the first time. When Lin Fan approached and gave that guy a slap, Lin Fan questioned why he had stopped fighting, claiming that he had been cool earlier. Lin Fan provoked the demon with another slap. The demon was furious and chastised Lin Fan. The match commentator began saying that Lin Fan attacked frantically with slaps. Xiao Chao was enraged. He paid to have Lin Fan beaten. Xiao Chao kept shouting at that man to fight Lin Fan. The demon's mask was blown off as the commentator yelled. Lin Fan was angry, and he was right. He questioned that guy about how much money Xiao Chao had paid him to beat Lin Fan to death, but Lin Fan didn't expect that after the mask was off, that person would be teacher Wei Lian. Xiao Chao lifted his teacher's forehead and scolded the stupid professor. The people below didn't think the school's martial arts instructor was the demon. To supplement his income, the teacher dared engage in martial arts in secret. Wei Lian was worried that if he was found out, he would be expelled from the school. The underground wrestling club was shut down permanently after that day. On the other hand, at some apartment in Shenzhou, there were two people talking about this incident together. Lin Tian Tong's son was the one who defeated the demon in the fortress, and there was just one possibility that Lin Tian Tong had left the Dragon Vein map to his son. Because the Dragon Vein map was a treasure, they decided to let Tian Hong Guild go get it. Recently, the organization requested that they steal the Dragon Vein map from a young man called Lin Fan. Someone arrived to provide both good and bad news at that very moment. The good news was that Xiao Chao disrupted their ring just in time for Lin Fan to get involved with the young master. At that point, Old 3 and Old 4 had gone to exact revenge. The bad thing was that Old 3, Old 4 had beaten someone to death. Lin Fan was currently strolling down the street, believing that a huge number of people was a lot of force and that the audience in the wrestling ring had helped him earn a lot of points. He exchanged a spring mushroom for these points. According to Balala, people who consumed this would directly boost their capacity. Lin Fan hastily went back to the wonton restaurant after realizing it was already too late. But when he got there, the current diner had turned into a ruined pile. Little Li Xiaoying, Uncle Li's daughter, ran to Lin Fan's side as soon as she saw him and began crying loudly. She already noticed a mound of broken wonton cups when she got home from school, and her father was nowhere to be seen. A short while later, those bad guys showed up to destroy the eatery and even beat the little girl. When one of the wrestlers overheard her say so, he came out and claimed that Lin Fan had accused young master Xiao Chao and had also harassed the club of the Tian Hong Guild. He yelled that Lu Fan was being too bold. Lin Fan questioned what they intended to do. Hadn't he already made it obvious to their young master that if Lu Fan triumphed in the underground ring, all resentment would end? Lin Fan inquired about their Tian Hong Guild, which had both damaged the eatery and kidnapped Uncle Li. The tall guy defiantly asked Lu Fan whether his promise had a contract, and Tian Hong Guild in Shenzhou City could kill anyone they wanted. They joined together to defeat Lin Fan. Ultimately, one of them used a knife to stab Lin Fan in the forehead. Fortunately, Lin Fan had already bought mushrooms. The mushroom rushed into the owner's mouth as soon as it realized he needed it. To everyone's surprise, Lin Fan awoke, and his strength had now peaked as well. Someone else arrived after Lin Fan had defeated everyone in the room. Zhu Kei asked Lu Fan where the map that Lin Tian Tong had left for Lin Fan was, and if Lin Fan didn't want things to get worse, Lin Fan should give him the map. Lin Fan inexplicably declared that person was his father. What was that man talking about? Lu Fan questioned the man, asking if he shared the same side as those who had just been beaten and were lying on the ground. Lin Fan demanded that they compensate him immediately because they had ruined Uncle Li's wonton restaurant. Zhu Kei smirked coldly when he saw that Lin Fan didn't answer the question. He assumed Lu Fan was acting. It didn't seem right not to make Lin Fan say it. Zhu Kei stated that he was considerably stronger than the others. Lin Fan was enraged. He intended to gradually charge them with assaulting Li Xiaoying and destroying the wonton restaurant with that guy. As soon as a girl learned that Lin Fan had defeated all of Tian Hong's men, she immediately despised them. Did they really need an Ying to act when the Tian Hong Guild was so useless? The leader of Tian Hong said that he had already dispatched Zhu Kei there and did not need her help. Hearing this, she felt more secure. She had decided to protect Tian Hong before because of a monk like Zhu Kei. She was currently being surrounded by police below. The speaker constantly stated that she was encircled and that she needed to release the hostages quickly and surrender. But she continued her conversation calmly. A rank cultivator might kill a martial arts master, let alone Lin Fan. At this time, Lin Fan used Balala to check the information about Zhu Kei before fighting. According to the information, the opponent's body was a spirit weapon, which meant he had to be a monk. Lin Fan was unable to fight Zhu Kei in the actual combat, but his life was protected by a guy named Meng Chang. He was old Zhao's man, and he intended to protect Lin Fan in order to get him. Zhu Kei reasoned that Zhao and Meng Chang had already arrived, so it wasn't appropriate to act. From Zhu Qiu's observation, Lin Fan probably didn't know what his father had left. Zhu Kei told Lin Fan that Lin Fan's father must have left something for Lin Fan before his death. There were 5 important atlases in total: Mu Long, Sha Sha, Guan Shui, Point, and Lap Shang. Lin Fan's father owned one of them. Lin Fan had 10 days to bring the notebook to Zhu Kei. He didn't care if An Ying returned to Lin Fan's village to search for or dig ancestral graves. In short, Lin Fan needed to find what his father had left and give it to Zhu Kei. After 10 days, Zhu Kei would either go get the Dragon Vein map or kill Lin Fan. After saying so, Zhu Kei hurriedly left with the people Lin Fan had knocked unconscious earlier. Lin Fan asked Zhu Kei if he knew what had happened to Lin Fan's father, but he didn't answer and immediately vanished. Lin Fan wondered whether his father had left a map behind before he disappeared. When Lin Fan thought about his father, the first thing that came to mind was the wall in the countryside. Despite the fact that Lin Fan saw his father very little since he only handled outside duties throughout the year, the medals on the wall in the house revealed a lot about his father's life. In Lin Fan's heart, his father was a great hero. He remembered the last time he saw his father was on the 3rd of 5 years ago, when his father returned after a major accomplishment. The leaders, village head, and neighbors had been waiting for him since very early. Lin Fan couldn't help but feel anxious because he hadn't seen his father in a while. He also felt distant and wasn't sure what to call him. Back in the present, old Zhao wanted Lin Fan to marry his granddaughter on the condition that he lend Lin Fan his book of Dragon Vein and improve the lives of Lin Fan and Uncle Li's family. The granddaughter of the elderly guy was away on business until tomorrow morning. He had already prepared 2 rooms for Lin Fan and Li Xiaoying. They should stay here if the wonton restaurant was temporarily uninhabitable. Li Xiaoying stated that she didn't know where her father had gone and couldn't even call him, so she was worried and couldn't eat. The police would not handle Uncle Li's case because he had been missing for less than 24 hours, but old Zhao informed the 2 of them that he had already dispatched people to find Uncle Li. Lin Fan felt that because there were so many events going on today, he needed to get to bed early. But as soon as he walked in, a maid girl and her father entered to sort things out. The system then displayed Lin Fan's task, which was to discover the girl's secret. Yes, Balala once remarked that there were only 2 ways to level up. Either collect enough points to exchange the spring mushrooms or complete the system's mission. Spring mushrooms were tough, let alone any props used, whose prices would go up so much, and besides, he'd be confronting that Zhu Kei again in 10 days. Even if Lin Fan discovered what his father had left, he couldn't give it to Zhu Kei, so Lin Fan would need to grow his capacity within the next 10 days. Lin Fan had 10 days to not only acquire as many points as possible but also complete as many system tasks as possible. However, Lin Fan suddenly sensed 2 mysterious points that were constantly rising, while the female in front of him remained emotionless. Lin Fan might have found the problem. Lin Fan asked the girl to leave the room. At this point, Mr. Zhao and Meng Chang showed up to congratulate him on passing the exam. They had set up a small scheme to determine whether Lin Fan was trustworthy enough. He wasn't wrong, they were keeping an eye on him, but when his niece showed up, she recognized him as the one in the restroom that day. When the girl took the opportunity of the chaos to leave, Lin Fan discovered her and chased her. He yelled at Wen Xiaoman to stop and hand over whatever she was hiding. Lin Fan was right, the girl tried to run away. She fell to the ground with a USB falling off when he caught her. Just as they came out of the door, Mr. Zhao's men spotted Lin Fan grasping the girl's leg and were furious. Lin Fan was shouted at by Mr. Zhao's niece for daring to touch her subordinate. Without needing to contact the police, she would be the one to handle Lin Fan. Lin Fan sensed the danger and tried to explain, but she refused to listen. Zhao Ling Yu used robotic gloves and told Lin Fan to explain with her gloves. At this point, Lin Fan was only thinking that he needed to take this servant's secret quickly because time was running out. Fortunately, he received the USB as the time had just ended. The Balala system announced that Lin Fan had discovered the secret stored on Wen Xiaoman's body and that the mission had been activated. Zhao Lingyu punched Lin Fan before he could celebrate. Lin Fan cried out in pain incessantly, holding the nose that had just been punched. It was a titanium alloy weapon with 600 kilograms of full force, but Lin Fan quickly destroyed it, leaving Ling Yu wondering who he was. Why did Lin Fan have the USB from Old Zhao's company? Old Zhao asked. When they realized it was something he received on Wen Xiaoman's body, they all went to see it. The USB contained details about the new phone type that the corporation was planning to launch. Wen Xiaoman apologized, explaining that her daughter had been tricked into selling into the Xiao family's KTV and was also involved in drugs. She wanted to redeem her daughter, so she did this. She knew this secret was important, yet her daughter was her most precious person. Meng Chang and Zhao Lingyu went to find those people after hearing this news. Lin Fan appeared to be on a mission to save Wen Xiaoman's daughter, but he was stopped by the two. The two met the madam at KTV, who was also a member of the Tian Hong Guild. Meng Chang guessed that she was also the one in charge of this place. He stated that this KTV was suspected of deception and enticement, so he intended to report it to the police. She replied with a smile that she was terrified by their intention to call the police. Officer Chen appeared at this point and inquired as to what the noise was that was preventing him from singing. Officer Chen stated that he came here every day to check and that this club was a great place to have fun. Meng Chang knew at this point that this kind of trash was coordinated with the authorities, so it was no surprise that the Xiao family did numerous illegal businesses but still remained powerful. Chen shouted at Meng Chang, asking who was trash, and threatened to sue Meng Chang for insulting the police. The madam wanted him to seek justice for her as soon as possible, and he assured her that having him here was the law. Who would dare say that it was illegal? Meng Chang couldn't help but run in and hit the other two people. Lin Fan, on the other hand, was having problems with Mr. Zhao, who wanted to know why Lin Fan preferred other people's feet. Lin Fan was at a loss for words. Could he really claim to have experienced hallucinations? Lin Fan believed that maybe not making it up was the best response, and he stated that he enjoyed other people's feet. The points on Old Zhao's head had now increased significantly, and Lin Fan wondered if he had said something wrong. Lin Fan wondered why he said he liked other people's feet. He couldn't say that he had a system. Lin Fan then went on to explain that human beings have needed feet since the beginning of time and that in earlier times, when people hadn't learned to walk, people would have looked at their legs every day when they raised their heads. After hearing Lin Fan's explanation, Old Zhao approached Lin Fan and gave him a bear hug. He decided to marry his niece to Lin Fan. The two sat down and started to have a serious conversation after resolving all the issues. When Old Zhao inquired why Lin Fan intended to go to the Xiao family's KTV to save people, Lin Fan stated that Meng Chang and Zhao Lingyu definitely needed help. The old man laughed when he heard this. He said that Lin Fan was daydreaming, and even though he chose one of them, the Xiao family couldn't cope easily either. Meng Chang was a rare martial arts cultivator who once defeated a division of several dozen members of the Tian Hong Guild by himself. The name Meng Chang was well known throughout. The Tian Hong people and the Xiao family stopped causing problems when Meng Chang became the captain of the guard. Zhao Lingyu, the niece of Mr. Zhao, had talent in martial arts. Last year, she got first place at the university's martial arts graduation. Her robotic armor, even when dealing with D-level martial arts masters, was not inferior. Old Zhao assured Lin Fan that he just needed to learn how to take good care of her. Mr. Zhao took out his phone and intended to give them a call. Perhaps they had already done so. But when he dialed, nobody picked up. Lin Fan inquired whether there was any problem. Wen Xiaoman learned that the Xiao family had hired Tian Hong to guard that location since it was illegal. Zhan Wu, the person in charge, seemed to be quite dangerous. Mr. Zhao was shocked after he heard what his niece had said. Zhan Wu was the most mysterious man in the Tian Hong Guild. No one knew his genuine identity or class of combat. For years, even the police were unaware. Mr. Zhao was concerned that his two grandkids were in danger if the opponent was really Zhan Wu. Lin Fan told Mr. Zhao not to wait any longer and let him go, while inside Lin Fan was thinking how lucky he was to still have a chance to complete the task. Old Zhao agreed to let Lin Fan go. After all, Mr. Zhao didn't have the convenience to come out this time. Lin Fan brought a lot of cash with him when he arrived here. First, he intended to go save Wen Xiaoman's daughter before assisting the other two. There were no girls accepted by Lin Fan. Finally, Officer Chen requested that someone bring out Wen Xiaoman's daughter. As soon as they met, she told Lin Fan not to ask who she was because meeting each other in the midst of a busy life was also fate. She wanted them to guess each other's personalities, identities, and interests. Lin Fan pulled Wen Ruan away. He wasn't an idiot. Lin Fan knew that this was Wen Ruan, Wen Xiaoman's daughter. San, Death, Wen Lu, Heavenly Calendar, Young Qi, 10 points of Inter heard after realizing someone had uncovered her identity. Wen Ruan swiftly pulled up Lin Fan's hands, using her hands for acupressure. Lin Fan angrily yelled at her for daring to sneak up on him. Damn it. He kicked her away with a not-so-heavy move. Lin Fan looked at Wen Ruan in amazement. He thought it would have been difficult to press 10 acupuncture points at once without missing a shot if it hadn't been for 10 years of hard training. Wen Ruan, on the other side, silently observed Lin Fan and thought he was quite dangerous. She didn't anticipate that anyone would be able to counterattack while she was using her twin reflexology Ace's master, which caused Wen Ruan to become slightly more cautious after facing her opponent. Balala reminded Lin Fan that he had discovered the mission target for the first time, therefore the system's chances of promotion would improve. Balala asked Lin Fan if he wanted to use it. It was the perfect time, according to Lin Fan, and he would exploit it to advance his talent. During the fight, Lin Fan discovered that meeting the ace was expensive, which was why he called out all the girls but still couldn't see her. Wen Ruan's mother also failed to find her many times. Lin Fan told Wen Ruan to follow him to see her mother. Lin Fan and Wen Ruan bet that whoever lost a playing card would drink wine, so if she was drunk, he could take her outdoors. But none of those present expected Lin Fan's quantum to be very good. Even the staff members couldn't stand those wines. With the current service charge included, Lin Fan had spent Xiao Hun's 23,000 yuan on 10 bottles of Spiritus Rectificauini. Because Lin Fan still couldn't get drunk from all the wine, they brought out a 96-degree one. This wine had the highest alcohol percentage in the entire world. In fact, it had a concentration of alcohol even higher than the hospital sanitizer. Wen Yan didn't think Lin Fan wouldn't fall. If Lin Fan wanted to prevail, he had to look through the dice's glass. However, at the time, he didn't have the talent to see through the glass, so in order to see through the glass, Lin Fan had to temporarily improve his vision to a level above that of the average person. And there was only one way to do this, the traditional national art known as Huasha. The first step was to rub the heavenly acupuncture point, followed by sealing the love acupoint, pressing the quadrilateral acupuncture point, and pressing the temple acupuncture point. Everyone who was watching Lin Fan's actions couldn't figure out what he was doing. Wen Ruan told Lin Fan to keep drinking. If he could get her drunk, he would be able to take her home. Lin Fan eventually saw it. He was able to see inside. It turned out that Ruan's finger had a magnet, which had to have been custom-made, meaning that whether Lin Fan had predicted correctly or not, the outcome might still be changed. He finally understood why he constantly lost. Lin Fan now realized the trick, so before opening the box, he pulled Wen Ruan's hand away. Lin Fan was thus able to beat Wen Xuanyuan numerous times. She eventually fell to the ground after becoming so drunk. Everyone remarked that this was the first time they had ever seen Wen Ruan that drunk. Lin Fan, as he stated, had Wen Ruan on his shoulder and intended to carry her to her mother. However, his magic ran out of time at that point, and they were both caught. Lin Fan was captured by a man named Zan Wu, and it was there that he met Officer Chen. Officer Chen inquired if Lin Fan was wet behind the ears. This KTV had been guarded by Officer Chen. When he saw Lin Fan tied up high, he asked whether Lin Fan didn't comply, but that was the way society was now. A few years ago, Lin Tian Tong, a member of the Special Forces, had a national treasure valued at more than $100 million but later disappeared, leaving his wife and kids behind to run away. Chen claimed that, in comparison to that person, he was only an amateur. Lin Fan heard that and became extremely angry, but he could not tell Chen the truth. Chen was pleased to see Lin Fan angry and asked Lin Fan why he was angry. But at this point, no matter how loudly Lin Fan yelled, no one could come to help him. Yes, even if he screamed right now, no one outside could hear him and come to his aid. Lin Fan distracted Chen to untie the bonds, asking whether even the police couldn't get in. Chen chuckled aloud because he was here so no police would arrive. Lin Fan grinned coldly, thinking it would be best to act now. That police officer, Chen, was still unaware of the danger. He had already exposed his identity to Lin Fan, so Lin Fan had to die. Officer Chen wanted to beat Lin Fan to death. Chen was a boxing and martial arts champion for 3 years in a row. He was a master. He struck Lin Fan hard, but at that point, Lin Fan suddenly counterattacked. He kicked hard, breaking Chen's hand with a punch. At that moment, Zhao Lingyu also calmed down and walked up with Lin Fan. No one had ever dared to play with Lingyu before, and he wanted to announce that they were about to die. Unexpectedly, Zhan Wu arrived to assist the two of them in beating Officer Chen at that very moment. Zhao Lingyu then questioned who she was and why she had come to help them. She replied that it didn't matter who she was. All he needed to know was that she wasn't an accomplice to Officer Chen. She then provided Zhao Lingyu with proof of the KTV's illegal business, with the only condition that Lingyu take good care of her sister Balala. Zhao Lingyu didn't understand what she was saying or what Balala was. However, she then disappeared without saying anything. Lin Fan thought that the accumulated points were not enough at the time and that the moves he changed earlier were still unusable, so he felt a little wasted. In the evening, the police in Shenzhou got a credible report. There was a big crime at 1 KTV. Everyone took off hurriedly to carry out important tasks. Someone was literally standing on the roof above the KTV. The police urged the besieged man to lay down his weapon and surrender immediately. The person on it was none other than Police Officer Chen, who was no longer conscious. He was now dressed like a brass girl in leopard boots and skirts. When Lin Fan returned, Mr. Zhao complimented Lin Fan wholeheartedly. This time, Lin Fan, Mr. Zhao's chosen nephew-in-law, did a good job of rescuing them. Lin Fan not only destroyed KTV but also exposed the person behind Tian Hong Guild, reducing the Shao family's and Tian Hong Guild's strength. Meng Cheng was currently receiving treatment from Zhao Lingyu, and even though he was still in a coma, his condition had steadily improved. At this point, an outsider entered the room to inform old Zhao that he had tracked down the owner Li of the super delicious wonton restaurant. Lin Fan was delighted to see Uncle Li back. Someone told Wu Tanglan, who earlier saved Uncle Li, not to move. However, she couldn't accept An Ying's assassin taking action against the entire director's family and injuring several officers. When Uncle Li returned, he sat down with Lin Fan and Mr. Zhao to talk. Mr. Li didn't expect so much to happen. It was better that Lin Fan and his daughter were safe even though the wonton restaurant was destroyed. Old Zhao assured Mr. Li that Li Xiaoying was sleeping upstairs. Mr. Li thanked Mr. Zhao for his help, explaining that this was due to his lack of success in business, as he had yet to pay his loan to the Xiao family. Mr. Zhao advised Mr. Li not to thank him. Instead, Mr. Li should thank Lin Fan. Lin Fan would work for Mr. Zhao, and his salary would be used to pay off Mr. Li's debt. Lin Fan asked Uncle Li why he had only worn a mask since his return. Mr. Li removed his mask, shocking Lin Fan with his swollen mouth. Speaking of this, Mr. Li stated that this had to be mentioned from the wonton bowl he ate in the restaurant left by Lin Fan. Mr. Li noticed that Lin Fan made the wonton in the kitchen yesterday after Lin Fan left for school. Mr. Li didn't throw them away even though they were different from the restaurant's recipe. Instead, he sold them to customers. As a result, the guest's mouth was so badly burned that it was impossible to recognize it. Despite the fact that the guest's whole mouth was burned and he was unable to speak, he continued to point at the wonton bowl, his mouth making a strange sound. Mr. Li took a bite with another chopstick and discovered it was not only the nicest wonton he had ever eaten, but it was also the hottest type of wonton. More weirdly, the two of them did everything but couldn't cool it down. Finally, they continued to eat, causing the two of them to burn their mouths. Lin Fan instantly remembered the driver he had just handed 2 bowls of wonton to and dashed outside to check. They consequently experienced the same thing, only Li Xiaoying was unharmed. Lin Fan asked the system, but the system refused to answer, so he decided to find out by himself and create such wonderful wontons. A KTV waiter who managed to flee came back to inform Xiao Hun that the KTV had been demolished. Xiao Hun didn't believe it, so he asked that person multiple times. That man admitted that what he stated was accurate, and the police arrested a big man named Zhan Wu. The man wanted to stop the Zhao family from taking the females in it away, but the result was that he was beaten hard. He wanted the president to be their master. President Xiao Hun chastised them for daring to break ground on the crown prince's head and vowed to smash the entire Zhao family. Xiao Tong, the third young master of the Xiao family, walked out, telling his father to calm down and asking the injured guy to get up first, then taking his hands closely. Xiao Tong told Zhan Wui, the waiter, with a sorrowful expression, that he had devoted so much to their family. The third master was alarmed by the waiter's bloody hand on his face. Xiao Tong now only thought of getting as much blood as possible, so he broke the servant's hands. That man wouldn't be able to reveal anything since all 10 of his fingers were broken and his mouth was pummeled. Xiao Tong then pulled out his phone and dialed 911. He screamed aloud, claiming that a criminal had broken into his home. That criminal even attacked everyone, and Xiao Tong's entire face was now covered in blood. Then Xiao Tong turned to tell his father that these illegal businesses should be withdrawn as soon as possible. He declared that from his generation on, he would do business as normal. On the other hand, the Zhao family rebuilt the wonton restaurant for Uncle Lee after just one night. Lin Fan was currently attempting to figure out how to stop the wontons from the receiving system from being too hot. In the process, he found a new skill, technological genius. Wu Tang Land police showed up at the wonton restaurant shortly after. She didn't anticipate that even the Zhao family, who had always done business honestly, would do this. All of the KTV girls were taken to Uncle Lee's wonton restaurant by Zhao's family. Lin Fan dressed them up as servants to serve at the restaurant. Wen Ruan, who stood next to him, grinned, wondering what new trick he was going to do. Lin Fan reasoned that if all of the refrigeration equipment failed to cool the wontons, the only option was to have these girls do the job of blowing them cold. As a result, Lin Fan hired them as waitresses for the restaurant. It would be fantastic if the problem of very hot wontons could be solved while also finding work for these girls. The super delicious wonton restaurant, which was opened every morning, began. They had 2 college boys as their first customers, and they were talking about how the head of the martial arts department, Master Wei Lian, had been exposed for taking part in underground wrestling. The video went viral on the internet, and the school fired him the same night. Yesterday, Wei Lian came to battle Lin Fan, and awful news was revealed that evening. The 2 pupils thought it was too much a coincidence. They were on their way to school when they decided to stop by Uncle Lee's wonton restaurant for lunch. As the 2 finished eating, their eyes glowed at their deliciousness. The mix of meat filling, corn kernels, and mushrooms was like the architect Antione's basilica in Spain, imposing but magnificent, and beneath the compression of the oral cavity, rich broth flew from the skin of the wonton. The eatery rapidly drew a large number of customers. The wontons that had just been sold were equal to those that Uncle Lee used to sell for half a day. Lin Fan inside the kitchen constantly used the system to create wontons. Lin Fan gained a lot of points in the system by changing the emotions of the customers. He chuckled out, it was a significant profit from doing business without funds. But now the problem was that Wen Ruan still refused to do this job, so Lin Fan was not accepted to complete the challenge. Wu Tang Lan, who was investigating this wonton restaurant, ran into many problems because too many customers came in. Wu Tang Lan entered the store with a few of her co-workers and some heavy equipment. Before she could notice what was going on around her, she rushed to arrest Lin Fan, claiming that although he had the right to keep silent, what he said would be evidence in court. At this time, 2 co-workers who had just found out that there was something wrong with the scenario in the shop called her, but it was not with the negative intentions that Wu Tang Lan suspected. She realized she was mistaken, so she came here for a food safety check. Lin Fan questioned her about whether she meant that sanitary checks also required the use of a gun. Vo Dang claimed that this was the rule while showing no signs of emotional change, but Lin Fan didn't believe it. Although Lin Fan was able to save the females in KTV, he also arranged jobs for them that were not bad, but using his mouth to blow wontons was not in conformity with hygiene rules. The girls were now concerned about whether such checks would have an impact on their sales. They hoped not, because selling wontons at the shop was better than working in KTV. Wen Ruan overheard those words and saw Lin Fan try to offer the policewoman wontons, but she declined. The girls were happy as Wen Ruan brought out the wontons from the kitchen. That was great. Even though Wen Ruan's appearance wasn't regarded as the most attractive in KTV, she was the ace. However, that was because KTV only ever had male guests. Because she was able to host female guests in addition to handling men, she got the nickname, People's #1 Breaker. Wen Ruan pulled out the wonton dish, saying it was something they had worked so hard to make. She sat down with Wu Tang Lan and explained that she was having difficulties getting out of KTV and that all she wanted now was a stable job to support her bedridden mother. After hearing this, Wu Tang Lan softened her heart and ate the wonton bowl, not expecting it to be so much better than she had thought. Lin Fan in the classroom could read a long English lesson thanks to his system skills, and everyone in the class wondered when his English was that good, and perhaps he had bad grades to hide his true talent. Lin Fan was asked how many words he knew, but he didn't know how to respond, guessing only half of the Oxford Dictionary. Anyone present who heard it turned to Lin Fan in amazement. How could it be? IELTS Band 8 was fewer than 10,000 words. Gray was no more than 30,000 words at most, and half of the Oxford Dictionary was 150,000 words. Everyone wondered if Lin Fan was a genius. The teacher standing nearby listened to Lin Fan's talk with everyone approaching at this time, and he asked Lin Fan to quickly register for the 8 major band, TOEFL, and Gray tests. The teacher even promised to pay for Lin Fan's registration with his own money since he believed that with Lin Fan's current abilities, Lin Fan would definitely get good grades, and perhaps get into Harvard. Lin Fan had not expected everything to be so magical. He had only read through the dictionary for a quick look but remembered everything. The Balala system mocked Lin Fan. The talent of rote learning was the memory strength of the top-level alien creature, possibly only after one thing, the Balala system. Lin Fan questioned the system, asking if he could become an encyclopedic scholar who was proficient in everything if he read every book in the library once. Lin Fan would then be more powerful than the entire school's teacher. After giving it some more thought, Lin Fan asked everyone in the room to move aside so he could go to the library. Everyone in the class moved to the side, believing that this was the source of their talent for learning. Xiao Mei Mei came looking for Lin Fan before he could go. Today the martial arts department conducted an international student ball match, but Mei Mei's brother Xiao Chao fainted, so she asked Lin Fan to fill in. Lin Fan anticipated that the final would have a large number of viewers and that newspapers would report on it. This was an opportunity for Lin Fan to gain points. Lin Fan agreed, telling Mei Mei to give it to him. The volleyball match between Lin Fan's team and the American team began. However, things didn't go well since Lin Fan was the one who interrupted the match. At times, he struggled to control his hand force because it was too strong, and at other times, he was confused by the game's rules. The above commentator was excited about the match, pointing out that the height and physical gap were clear. A few members of the team asked current captain Xiao Mei Mei what they needed to do, but Xiao Mei Mei could only scold in her heart because she had lost her strength. After hearing the remark about his height and physical deviation, Lin Fan assumed it was quite simple, so it would be helpful if the high jump was powerful enough to hit the ball on the opposing team's court. With all of his strength, Lin Fan hit the opposite team, but the commentator now claimed that Lin Fan's forceful ball catching was like giving the other team a chance. Lin Fan demonstrated the master's resilience to everyone, but the step was too high, causing him to tangle his foot in the beam. Lin Fan, a team member, went over the line, touched the net, and bumped into the opposition team. The aggressor received a yellow card warning. The newspapermen glanced at each other, amazed, and inquired whether they had seen anything recently. One believed it was dizzy, but he managed to capture it. Lin Fan's resilience was unbelievable. The net was 2.43 meters high, but Lin Fan jumped at least 2.2 meters. The journalists believed they were witnessing the birth of a new generation of volleyball geniuses. The first half was over, but Lin Fan's team still lost miserably. During the break, a few players from the other team passed by, calling Lin Fan's team trash and even claiming that they had given Lin Fan's team a point. After using Balala to improve his batting skills, Lin Fan informed Xiao Mei Mei that he would be the main attacker in the next round. Mei Mei was about to argue, but Lin Fan refused to listen. She had to obey him. In the second half, it was Xiao Mei Mei's team's turn to tee off. Everyone in the school cheered for them to counterattack quickly, but the US team softly caught the tee shot. Then there was Brittany's moon spike tee, but Lin Fan caught it this time. America's ace, Charles Libero, found it interesting and switched positions before entering the match. America's ace had finally joined the match, the agitated commentator shouted. The commentator told everyone to wait and see what surprises that ace would bring. Several members of Xiao Mei Mei's crew stood dumbfounded and stared at Charles, who was far too cool. But at that point, Lin Fan became the center of attention as he unexpectedly blocked the ball with his face to score the first point for the team. His jump was like the shooter's, and he was definitely genius. Brittany's powerful moonspike technique was not insignificant, but it seemed like a mosquito bite to Lin Fan. The American squad was perplexed as to where that young man, Lin Fan, came from because he was not only hard but also athletic. Anna Libero wanted to switch positions since she had a technique for coping with those who used physical force. Anna of the American team used a unique move, blasting the ball straight to the opposing court. At this point, the commentator noticed that the team's second pass was Xiao Mei Mei, and now that the main attack had switched to Lin Fan, they were unsure if this move was right. The ball spun swiftly in the air, and second pass Xiao Mei Mei slid her hands. The commentator knew that no one could stop Anna's catastrophic tornado, but as soon as he concluded, Lin Fan passed the ball back to the opposing team. A girl's hair was also broken by that pass. In the end, Xiao Mei Mei's team successfully counterattacked. After a while, the announcer exclaimed that everything was magical and that the three men of America couldn't resist Lin Fan's tee shot. In the end, Xiao Mei's team won. The volleyball match in the martial arts department had a 3-round win-2 rule, and Xiao Mei Mei's team and America's team were tied 1-1. The match was about to begin in the third round, the decisive round of wins and losses. Since Lin Fan was only an unknown student who challenged the United States, one of the three reporters was too terrified to keep his mouth shut. As a result, the three predicted that Lin Fan would become a highly popular celebrity. After the match, the three people wanted to interview Lin Fan right away, including Lin Fan's friends and teachers. After hearing the reporters say that, a group of people in the back row came forward and claimed to be Lin Fan's closest friends. This close friend did not forget to mention that, ever since he was a young child, he viewed Lin Fan as a volleyball genius. Others claimed to be Lin Fan's opponents, and it was thanks to them that Lin Fan became stronger. The American team members were furious at this point and had no idea who Lin Fan was. Charles Libero, a volleyball trainee who had previously played football for 2.5 years, came onto the court to greet Lin Fan. The match resumed with the United States teeing off, featuring a difficult tee shot by Jones. The ball was caught by Lin Fan's teammates and passed on to him, who smacked the opponent with great power once more. But in the end, the American side won the points, and no one knew what was going on. The members of Xiao Mei Mei's team were also taken aback. Obviously, the ball had fallen far away from Charles. Charles Libero then said that he possessed a rare spirit physique, which was a passive skill, and that no matter how much spike the opponent had, all the ball would be pulled through the super realm by him, and there was no ball that he couldn't catch. Lin Fan cursed silently, not expecting the setting. The ball's direction was miraculously altered, and Charles again bent Lin Fan's spike. The American team now became overbearing once more, thanks to Charles. Unfortunately, Xiao Mei Mei twisted her leg while playing, so Lin Fan used his reflexology skills to help her. Shortly after, Xiao was able to continue playing. Lin Fan urged her to hurry, and the two of them launched a counterattack. A girl on the team couldn't figure out how Lin Fan got Xiao Mei Mei to recover so quickly, so she went to tell Lin Fan that her arm was also hurt and she was scared she wouldn't be able to catch any more of Jones' defensive tee shots. Lin Fan turned to face her and said it was fine, he would back her, she only needed to catch one more shot. That girl was really unhappy right then. Again, it was the opponent's tee, and even though they managed to catch it, Xiao Mei Mei's teammate was in severe pain. The American team was overjoyed and laughed, thinking that their opponent had reached their limits. The commentator expressed his fear that if Xiao Mei Mei's side did not earn the chance to tee off this time, there would be no next time. Charles Libero stated that regardless of the path or force of the ball, it would be useless in front of him. Xiao Mei Mei was concerned that the opponent had a superior feel, but Lin Fan only told her to trust him and pass the ball. If Charles had claimed to be the strongest, Lin Fan would definitely be his opponent. Everyone standing above cheered for Lin Fan. Although Charles Libero, the Supermaster, would probably have no issues, his superiors had instructed him to lock up Lin Fan. Zhu Kei joined the crowd cheering for Lin Fan to have his legs locked, and he noticed that he was experiencing the same feeling once more. Lin Fan, the master of the 5-star innate divine power basket, yelled that he could not be stopped. Zhu Kei had no idea what happened. Hadn't he previously had great control over Lin Fan? Lin Fan continued to score points and even hit Charles Libero, who used his youth to grab the ball. Everyone rushed to Lin Fan when he won the championship. Xiao Chao, who was a little bit ugly, also arrived and claimed that if Lin Fan had half of Xiao Chao's attractiveness, Bai Qi wouldn't have kicked him. Xiao Mei Mei ran up to hug Lin Fan from a distance, thanking him for the victory in this match. It was very important to her. Lin Fan thought he had found the right place because he had received a lot of points from everyone. His teammates were excellent as well, and they had incredible strength. Bai Qi stood nearby and glanced at the two, Xiao Mei Mei and Lin Fan, thinking they were a couple. She was afraid that if things continued going like this, her kicking Lin Fan would become a laughingstock. At this point, Journalists arrived to inquire about Lin Fan's feelings after winning the championship and whether he ever imagined defeating Charles Libero. Xiao Mei Mei stood by Lin Fan and told him to say something knowledgeable, but Lin Fan asked who Charles Libero was. Lin Fan simply stared at his points, puzzled as to why there were so many. The journalist informed Lin Fan that the interview would be shown live on television, so Lin Fan took advantage of the chance to promote his wonton shop. The headmaster then called Lin Fan into his room after hearing a teacher say that Lin Fan's level of English was good and that Lin Fan's performance in the game was also extremely magnificent. As a result, the headmaster believed Lin Fan could join the martial arts department and receive elite national training. Even though Lin Fan had a system and it wasn't necessary for him to join the martial arts department, his social status would be higher, and in the future he would have the option to join the army's senior ranks. Lin Fan considered whether he might discover the cause of his father's death. The headmaster then advised Lin Fan to calm down because the martial arts department was a national issue, and his words were also ambiguous. Lin Fan was required to take the entrance exam only once a year, which would be next week. Lin Fan and Xiao Mei Mei were followed by two classmates on their way back. Those two even argued that it was immoral to follow their friends like that, but a student couldn't believe Lin Fan could flirt with the goddess. Lin Fan had no idea what the atmosphere between them was, or why Xiao Mei Mei was still following him. Xiao Mei Mei voiced her appreciation for Lin Fan when he dared to argue with her vice dean in the principal's office. Generally, no one dared to be guilty in front of her. Mei Mei asked Lin Fan what he thought about her asking him around for dinner, but Lin Fan refused. In his mind, he thought he had just destroyed Mei Mei's underground KTV the night before, therefore he couldn't go to her house today. Despite the fact that he had gained many points today, the situation did not allow him to be optimistic. Now he had to take the time. It was still less than 10 days, but Zhu Ke appeared unexpectedly, and Lin Fan had no idea what Zhu Q's intentions were. According to the information, the so-called Dragon Vein map must be related to Lin Fan's father's disappearance, but he had never seen its shape or known where to look for it. So, in order to see the Dragon Vein map, Lin Fan first needed to get Zhao Ling Yu's approval. Mr. Zhao once claimed that if Lin Fan could gain Zhao's niece's recognition, he would not only be able to see the shape of the Dragon Vein map, but he would also be able to have their protection. Lin Fan recalled what happened last night, including some strange details such as how police officer Chen knew about his father's disappearance while even the ministry had no clue about it. Lin Fan asked Balala whether it knew what a Dragon Vein map was, but to his surprise, Balala's system contained that item, but it was locked. The Dragon Vein map was truly a non-trivial artifact, which was why so many individuals wanted to scramble for it. On the way back home, Lin Fan was attacked by Zhu Ke again. Zhu Ke asked Lin Fan to hand over the Dragon Vein map right now, but Lin Fan didn't actually have it, and even if he had, he wouldn't give it to Zhu Ke. Zhu Ke stated that Lin Fan would soon regret rejecting him and began to read the humanistic manipulation technique. Lin Fan raged at Zhu Ke, asking him why he bothered controlling Lin Fan all the time and that his technique no longer worked for Lin Fan. Zhu Ke didn't control Lin Fan, he was currently controlling someone else. A robot quickly appeared. Its power was enormous, even more powerful than Lin Fan's 2-star birth force. However, the robot's monitoring device in the big eyes on the head was also its biggest weakness. Lin Fan focused an attack at that spot, and the robot truly dropped its head. Inside the robot was teacher Wei Lian, who embarrassed himself in front of everyone and lost his job. Teacher Wei Lian wanted Lin Fan to pay a price. Wei Lian was lent his armor by Tian Hong Guild, and his physical strength improved significantly. He was also completely covered by the spear, making Lin Fan's acupuncture point test worthless. But as soon as Wei Lian stopped laughing, he collapsed to the ground. Lin Fan felt fortunate as he smashed the hat, having conveniently sealed the divine acupoint on the top of the head. Zhu Ke scolded Wei Lian, who was lying on the ground, saying that the idiots were indeed untrustworthy. After the first plan failed, Zhu Ke commanded Old 3 and Old 4 to arrive. Those were the two Lin Fan once defeated in the wonton shop, but they seemed a little unusual now. Zhu Ke stated that Tian Hong's rule was that if the object failed, it would be used as an experiment for his magic. Zhu Ke was happy that, thanks to him, the two of them had been damaged by the human arts, becoming insane, arrogant people with greater strength. Lin Fan, who was not cautious, was attacked by them. Lin Fan brought spring mushrooms from the Balala system, which were extremely difficult to swallow, but if he didn't level up, he wouldn't be able to defeat the three of them. Lin Fan chose to close his eyes and swallow it, but the mushroom continued to sing. While Lin Fan was hesitating, the spring mushroom was taken and eaten by one of those people. After calming down, Lin Fan asked Balala what it would be like to eat spring mushrooms with someone lacking a system. However, Balala had no idea because this had never happened before. Lin Fan wanted to grab the unconscious person's throat and make him throw up, but someone hit Lin Fan from behind with an attack greater than his 2-star force. Fortunately, that guy's speed was slower than that of the 5-star basket master, or Lin Fan would have died. Originally, Lin Fan planned to use mushrooms to level up his innate divine power, but he no longer had enough points to buy another mushroom. While Lin Fan was fighting the guy under Zhu Q's control, Zhu Ke was continually doing stealth outside. Lin Fan cursed Zhu Ke for being such a wicked guy. Zhu Ke attacked Lin Fan and stated that the old 3 plus the armor was equivalent to the D-level martial arts master's level, but Lin Fan had to push Zhu Ke to employ trickery to catch Lin Fan. Lin Fan must be at least a D-level intermediate, according to Zhu Ke, but a pupil could not reach that level. Zhu Ke then thought the Dragonbane map was on Lin Fan and demanded Lin Fan hand it out immediately. Lin Fan didn't notice what Zhu Ke said since his mouth began to mutter the countdown. Zhu Ke grinned and asked Lin Fan whether he was counting down how long he could stand and how poor Lin Fan was. Lin Fan stopped counting when a dish of very hot wontons made from the 3 flavors of fire landed on Old 3's head. Zhu Ke was now confused about where the wonton came from. Lin Fan, thankfully, realized there was still hope. He felt it would be good to draw a prize once so he could get a new talent, but even if he only drew wontons, he still had a chance. At Uncle Lee's small wonton shop, thanks to Lin Fan's help, sales increased a lot. When Uncle Lee and Li Xiaoying checked the money after closing the shop, they discovered that today's sales at the wonton restaurant were 5 times greater than the highest record in history. Li Xiaoying, who was eating wontons while seated, couldn't help but laugh. At the same time, someone came to disrupt the Xiao family. Qi Lin, the big brother of Tian Hong, the C-level martial arts expert and the D-level monk. When Qi Lin noticed Xiao Mei Mei returning, he couldn't help but smirk that the young lady of the Xiao family had finally come home. He sat in a high chair, watching the Xiao family and asking them why they made money behind his back and if they were going to let their daughter come to make up for it. As Xiao Chao heard that, he became furious. Qi Lin really knew how to joke. Seeing the danger, Xiao Chao's father told him to rush back and not be disrespectful to Qi Lin. At that time, Qi Lin was holding Xiao Chao in one hand and stating that Tian Hong Guild had been guarding the Xiao family for years, engaging in all manner of immoral activities. The Xiao family paid them wages from the income, cooperating peacefully with one another, but they stole something from the Zhao family valued at $10 billion, even hiding their guild. Xiao Tong approached and told Qi Lin not to be furious. Behind Tian Hong was An Ying. The Xiao family had built up their fortune like today thanks to Qi Lin's protection, and they did not dare to conceal it. Xiao Tong said that they only wanted to confirm if there was any mistake. After giving Xiao Tong a long look, Qi Lin said that he was intelligent. Xiao Tong invited Qi Lin to accompany him to see that $10 billion object. However, as soon as Qi Lin entered the mysterious entrance, Xiao Tong shut the door and imprisoned him. This was because he had deliberately spread the rumor to lure Qi Lin to come over. Shenzhou would no longer have Tian Hong State. Instead, the Xiao family would take control of the city. Lin Fan discovered during this battle that Zhao Lingyu was the one Zhu Ke had previously chased, but due to the theft, Zhu Ke was expelled from school and became a hoodlum whom many wanted to fight after one night. Zhu Ke cried bitterly, having learned from his experience and being determined to change himself. Having gone through trauma, Zhu Ke lost weight, went to the gym, and changed his name to Zhu Ke. After some time had passed, Zhu Ke returned to Shenzhou University and eventually developed into the most attractive man there. He then made the decision to pursue Zhao Lingyu. But it wasn't long before Zhu Ke received the dreadful news that the student physical examination report revealed that Zhu Ke and Zhao Lingyu were brothers, inbreeding. The person who expelled Zhu Ke earlier also said that he would not have done so if he had known that Zhu Ke was of the same blood. Within 3 generations, it was impossible for relatives to be together. Finally, in desperation, Zhu Ke met the master of the Tian Hong State, and from then on, he joined the Tian Hong State. Zhu Ke claimed Lin Fan had inquired about his relationship with Zhao Lingyu, so Zhu Ke replied that the person he couldn't pursue couldn't be taken away by someone else. Zhu Ke ordered the old 4 to strike, and anyone who dared to oppose him would be killed. Lin Fan recognized all the concerns at this point, which was why Zhu Ke was always using the death skill. He didn't just want the Dragon Vein map, but he also wanted to kill Lin Fan. Zhu Ke was surprised to see Old 3 and Old 4 being taken out by Lin Fan while they were both wearing armor and in a state of rage. If Mr. Zhao identified Lin Fan as his son-in-law, except that Lin Fan was not related by blood, the most crucial cause was his body. Zhu Ke was certain that Lin Fan's present defense was due to the Dragon Vein. During the combat, Lin Fan obtained an invisibility cloak from the system and assaulted Zhu Ke constantly, wanting to test how long Zhu Ke could last. Zhu Ke panicked, not expecting this boy to even know how to hide, and he had no idea how much strength Lin Fan had hidden. Zhu Ke decided that he couldn't keep being attacked like this. He needed to break Lin Fan's hiding skill. Zhu Ke attacked Lin Fan with the help of the Old 3, causing Lin Fan to reveal his location, and then repeatedly counterattacked with weapons. Zhu Ke couldn't stop laughing after seeing Lin Fan use a stick to stop him. Lin Fan couldn't help but fall to the ground. Zhu Ke guessed that the invisibility cloak was a new innovation of the Zhao family, and he even assumed Lin Fan was a monk, but he seemed to have overestimated Lin Fan. Zhu Ke didn't contest Lin Fan's might, though, the fact that Lin Fan was able to force Zhu Ke to employ all of his power. He went to ask Lin Fan one last time where the Dragon Vein map was, but Lin Fan was only experiencing pain and was immobile. Lin Fan was even more irritated that the points he had accumulated were insufficient to buy a grand treasure. Otherwise, he would die. At the same time that the reporter's previous interview was published, more people were aware that the school's team had beaten the American team and won the International Student Volleyball Championship. Lin Fan's voice emerged from various devices, saying his first time playing volleyball was also quite enjoyable, so he would continue to strive to win the basketball championship. When people saw him, they couldn't help but laugh and remark that he was too silly, while others said that he was too cool. A few users added the effect and shared it on TikTok. At the same time, Lin Fan was able to avoid danger thanks to the scores from everyone. He had no idea where that suddenly skyrocketing score came from, and neither did Balala, but it was hanging by a hair. Otherwise, how could Lin Fan afford so many items at once? Lin Fan was able to purchase 2 life-saving grand treasures with those points, as well as an invisibility cloak, spring mushrooms, and a large number of points remaining. Lin Fan held the charred spring mushroom in his hands, thinking that the burned object was no longer disgusting. As Zhu Ke saw Lin Fan come out unharmed from the fire he created, he was startled because the amount of flame he created might have burned down an entire house. Zhu Ke concentrated on thinking that the weapon was the stick in Lin Fan's hand, that the stick could stop the Emerald Emperor, and that the defense was strangely strong. Zhu Ke was aware that the youngster in front of him wasn't an easy opponent, but he recognized Lin Fan's weakness as his inability to launch an attack from a distance. Right now, all Zhu Ke needed to do was maintain his distance. Zhu Ke pondered how he could lose to Lin Fan, then use the Fire Phoenix. But he didn't expect Lin Fan to activate the invisibility cloak just behind him. Within a minute of using the grand treasure, the period of immunity expired. Lin Fan waited for Zhu Ke to strike, then held him right there, injuring himself. Zhu Ke was astonished when Lin Fan appeared behind him. Thankfully, he had a personal protective beer, reducing the destructive power of violent cremation. Lin Fan prevented Zhu Ke from escaping, but Zhu Ke couldn't understand why Lin Fan had such immense power. Lin Fan fixed his gaze on Zhu Ke. It was Zhu Ke who angered Lin Fan. Zhu Ke didn't give up at this point. Instead of letting someone be stupid in front of him, he utilized magic to summon a gun. Zhu Ke laughed and asked Lin Fan if he was good at avoiding the gun. Lin Fan was worried that his immunity time was only a few seconds away, not knowing if it would be enough to hold the gun. At this point, a white-bodied person appeared to assist Lin Fan in blocking the onslaught. This person was Yu Longhua, the greatest swordsman. Yu Long was a friend of Lin Tian Tong, Lin Fan's father, and he wanted to accept Lin Fan as a disciple. He was also the one who possessed the strongest sword technique in the world. Lin Fan sat down on the ground to consider this request, but Yu Long interrupted him by saying that many individuals had expressed an interest in becoming his disciples, but he had yet to meet them. Lin Fan was then asked what else he wanted to think about. Lin Fan said softly that because this was such an important matter, he needed to think about it. Lin Fan defeated Zhu Ke partly by chance because Zhu Q's master was Qi Lin, the powerful big brother of Tian Hong Guild, against whom neither Zhao Jia nor Xiao Jia could prevail. Yu Long inquired whether Lin Fan would be able to defend himself if he faced that person again. Lin Fan instantly knelt down to receive the master after hearing these words. He assumed that this mysterious, handsome uncle must have known a lot about his father. Therefore, Lin Fan simply hugged this large tree first. He didn't think he wouldn't get any news. Yu Long thought Lin Fan wasn't bad, and there was still a week until the martial arts fellowship exam, so he advised Lin Fan that if he didn't want to be bullied by others, he needed to first enter the social center. Starting today, Yu Long would teach Lin Fan swordsmanship every day. There would be no fixed time, and how much Lin Fan could comprehend depended on Lin Fan himself. After Yu Long finished saying what he needed to say, he disappeared. Lin Fan felt that he had met Yu Long somewhere. Lin Fan inquired of Mr. Zhao as to why the Zhao family's armor had appeared in the hands of the Tian Hong Guild. That was why Mr. Zhao quickly sent someone to bring Lin Fan back. That afternoon, something unexpected happened at the corporation. All of the armor started on its own, then flew away on its own. Even the tracking system didn't work. Mr. Zhao once again took Lin Fan to his house. Zhao Lingyu questioned as to why his grandfather had brought Lin Fan here. She had not forgotten that Lin Fan was the pervert who went to the bathroom that day, and Lin Fan had lately taken advantage of the females at KTV to open a wonton restaurant. As a result, Zhao Lingyu would never accept this person as her husband. She was instructed by old Zhao to put her marriage on hold in order to deal with the Xiao family right away. Mr. Zhao notified Zhao Lingyu that her armor had been lost, Meng Cheng was still unconscious, and the battle forces had suffered significant losses. The old man said that he was fortunate to have Lin Fan, who knew the dangerous spots. Lin Fan told Zhao Lingyu that he didn't want to come here either and requested that she show him the Dragon Vein map, and he would leave right away. However, Zhao Lingyu stated that he was daydreaming since the map of the Dragon Vein could only be seen by the Zhao family unless Lin Fan became the son-in-law, but he did not have that status at the moment. Lin Fan approached Zhao Lingyu and said that everything had been a misunderstanding and that he wasn't the kind of guy she had thought. Zhao Lingyu then struck Lin Fan hard, asking how he could touch her. However, Mr. Zhao claimed that Lingyu's behavior was absurd because Lin Fan was the person he had picked, and he could take his honor to ensure that Lin Fan wasn't a nasty guy. The servant stepped in at this point and asked what they should do with the female that had just been brought back. Lin Fan headed to the store to have a drink after they finished talking. What did they mean the Zhao family lady didn't say logic? He didn't need Pandora's box. In the shop, he encountered a girl named Ya Chun, who recognized him from TikTok clips. At this moment, he realized where all of his points came from. When she left, Lin Fan received an urgent mission to defuse bombs in her car. Lin Fan cursed. What kind of joke was this? He then hurried outside the shop to tell Ya Chun not to start the car. She looked at him puzzled, not understanding why Lin Fan had called her so loudly. Lin Fan was shouting, but nobody knew why. They assumed he was racing after his girlfriend because she had kicked him. As Ya Chun saw Lin Fan lying on the ground, looking under the car, she asked if he had dropped his belongings. Lin Fan assumed that if there were bombs, they would be under the car, as he saw in the movie, and there were really bombs beneath, with only 3 minutes till the bomb exploded. Lin Fan screamed at the onlookers that there were bombs, causing them to run away frantically. But when Ya Chun ran away from the bombs, something changed, so Lin Fan told her to stop right away. To be more certain of his guess, he ordered her to move away quickly or take a few steps back. Ya Chun asked him worriedly if she hadn't been able to go yet. Lin Fan stated he was afraid she wouldn't be able to leave temporarily because the sensor attached to the car would explode if she stood more than 5 feet away from it. It scared her to death, so as long as she didn't go, the bomb wouldn't go off. Lin Fan revealed to her that the bomb was timed, that it would still explode 2 minutes later, and that the bomber was determined to kill her. Ya Chun started crying and said she didn't want to die because she was still so young. In contrast, Lin Fan assured Ya Chun that he would save her. Lin Fan thought that if someone wanted to kill her, they would just start the car and blow it up, but Lin Fan didn't understand why they had timed the countdown to 3 minutes and that the bomb could also sense the distance with Ya Chun. Lin Fan decided not to think much of it. The urgent task now was to defuse the bomb. But as he was halfway through, Wu Tanglan, the vice captain of the Special Action Squad, showed up and yelled that civilians were not permitted to remove bombs. Lin Fan was startled by Wu Tanglan's scream, and the car flipped. A jack was a tool that was used to lift objects with heavy loads or high pressure. It had a piston with a vertical shaft above a portion that was in close proximity to the lifting lever. The structure was mild, solid, flexible, and reliable. A person was still strong enough to carry and use them. The car that had been tossed away was now 4 steps away from Ya-chun. Lin Fan had just attained full soulfulness and knew that if the car were 5 steps away from Ya-chun, it would explode. Lin Fan shouted, then walked over to the car, knocking it back to its original position. Everyone outside who was watching didn't think he kicked the car back, but someone noticed Lin Fan was a participant in the martial arts department and was too good. Lin Fan yelled back at Wu Tanglan, asking her not to scream on her own because it nearly caused the bomb to explode. Wu Tanglan, enraged with murderous anger, said that this had nothing to do with her. Someone told the police there was a bomb, and she was nearby at the time, so she hurried over. Wu Tanglan said Lin Fan was the only cause of the car flip. Lin Fan couldn't help but say that he didn't need her attention. Ya-chun noticed them arguing so loudly that they forgot the bomb was going to explode, so she urged them in a low voice to first save her from the bombs. Lin Fan assured her that Ying would remove it right away, but at this point Wu Tanglan interrupted him, telling him to hurry aside and not to brag. Let the professional handle it. Lin Fan noted that there were just 50 seconds remaining and that he was scared they might not be able to save their lives if they waited for the bomb disposal squad to show up. Wu Tanglan approached the car side, urging Lin Fan to step aside and let the police handle this. After a while of using the Balala system, Lin Fan finally convinced her to let him remove the bomb. Lin Fan quickly opened the bomb on Ya-chun's car, and after opening it, he didn't forget to scare the other 2. Seeing the 2 people panic, Lin Fan laughed loudly. He only scared the 2 of them. The bomb had been removed a long time ago. The system appears to have completed the urgent mission, won the mission reward package. Wu Tanglan was angry at Lin Fan's joke and hit Lin Fan with no mercy. He was lying on the ground shouting for someone to come save him. He was still holding a bomb in his hand. It was about to explode. Ya-chun sitting next to him smiled happily and said he was funny, not forgetting to thank him for saving her. Lin Fan was dealing with Wu Tanglan while replying that she was fine. At this point, Lin Fan remembered Ya-chun, and he remembered that his classmates often talked about the internet celebrity. Recalling what everyone was talking about was that Ya-chun was a boy. Lin Fan panicked and threw a bomb at Wu Tanglan, making her angry again. Holding a bomb in his hand, Wu Tanglan asked him if he wanted to kill her. The 3 of them sat down to rest, and at this time, Wu Tanglan felt that something was not right. It's strange, if you want to kill people, why don't you detonate it directly but adjust the countdown? In addition, there is a distance sensor installed on the bomb. This is also what Lin Fan wondered for a while. He began to analyze everything. Maybe the culprit had just planted the bomb when it happened. He still hasn't reached a safe distance. If that's the case, in other words, the culprit might still be near this place observing the situation. Once again Lin Fan, thanks to the clairvoyance system, finally found the culprit. Seeing Wu Tanglan running away, Lin Fan also followed. She asked him what he was doing, just hand it over to her. Lin Fan said he is currently running on instinct. Being chased by 2 people, the killer quickly ran into a dead end. He was standing in an ambush. Fortunately Lin Fan discovered it. Wu Tanglan connected the wire of the bomb in her hand and threw it into the alley. But the other has a weapon that suppresses even the bomb they just dropped. Wu Tanglan saw this scene and swore. She didn't know what it was, but she could withstand the bomb. Wu Tanglan felt unwell and took out the phone to call for help. While she was calling back to headquarters, Lin Fan heard her mention the name in the alley from An Ying's team as a 1-star assassin. He seems to remember that the Zhao family mentioned this organization in relation to the map of Dragon Circuit. And Ying is a gangster organization raging in this place. They are behind many terrible events. But so far it is unknown who the leader is. They are the top priority wanted target of the police. And Ying's assassin is divided into 5-star ranks. Even the lowest 1-star assassin, at least a midterm D-rank master, needs 10 special scenes to capture. The mark on his hand and even the flying guillotine he was using. Wu Tanglan said that Lin Fan destroyed the Xiao family's KTV, and made enmity with the Xiao family and the state of Tianhong. And Ying's power is deeper and more unpredictable than them. Knowing that too much on Ying's intelligence would bring disaster is not something a student should suffer. Wu Tanglan asked Lin Fan to leave quickly. He softly said that she had told him all the information. Wu Tanglan only now knew that he had accidentally said everything. Lin Fan mocked this older sister for being a bit unprofessional. The other fighter showed his face even though he didn't know why he was discovered. But if he missed it, he would kill everyone. Wu Tanglan pushed Lin Fan inside and she went outside to risk her life with that guy. But in the end, she couldn't fight that person, so she had to ask Lin Fan to take action to save them both. Lin Fan controlled the guy and asked him why he wanted to attack with bombs. He only obeyed the orders of his superiors, the rest he did not know why. He also did not dare to ask any more questions. The organization's regulations were not to probe each other. In addition to not being asked about the mission's goal, the identity of the Big Brother is even more secret. What's more, he's currently just a one-star assassin, at the very least. Lin Fan pulled him by the leg, which turned out to be just a small boy who didn't know anything. So now it's useless for you to keep him than to bring him to the police station. When he heard about the police station, he said he had something he was sure he was interested in. Lin Fan thought for sure that he knew about the information on the Dragon Circuit map. But he said another unrelated thing. He told him that the person he had just saved was a boy. Lin Fan didn't care and beat him up. He asked him to quickly talk about the main issue, how much he knew about the Dragon Circuit map. He begged him not to hit him again. He knew a little bit about this. It must be said that 12 years ago, the Border Guard Army discovered a terrible treasure. The intelligence services of other countries also heard the news, but before he finished speaking, Ya Chun appeared. When he saw a good opportunity, he went up to take her hostage. God really didn't have a way to live. But with the skills that Lin Fan had, he easily controlled him. When he returned to the police headquarters, Wu Tang Lan asked who Lin Fan was, but in the KTV case and the bombing case, he included him. Being able to throw her into the air with ease, she even saw him attack the assassin with her own eyes. Lin Fan thought for a while, this is actually Yu Long's master, but he didn't let him say it. When everything was settled, Ya Chun returned to the Xiao family's house. Xiao Tong saw her worried about going out to see the situation. She was the trump weapon in the Pandora's box that he spent a lot of money making. Ya Chun tells Xiao Tong about a good person she met. She firmly believes that there will be a time when the two will definitely become good friends. Xiao Feng sitting next to her stroked her hair and asked her 2 words of good person. He said that there are no good people in this world, only benefits. Xiao Tong reminds her not to forget what his purpose is to make her famous. At this time, someone outside was banging on the door very loudly. The person entering was Zhu Ke. He asked Xiao Tong, where is his master Qi Lin? Zhu Ke thought the opponent was stronger than he imagined. Even the old 3 and the 4th had already been defeated. Now he needed to meet Qi Lin. Xiao Tong showed no interest in looking at Zhu Q's miserable body. He donated the stolen mech from the Zhao family to Tianhong State. Finally, less than half a day had passed, but Zhu Ke had ruined it all. Not ashamed to come back here to find people. Zhu Ke shouted that he was only a 3rd young master, but he said Zan Wui like that, hurry up and call his father out. He gave them the mech as if he was already respecting them, didn't expect them to be asked for fairies by the elephants. If you have come here, don't blame Xiao Tong for not being polite. Zhu Ke laughed out loud without being polite. Bang Tianhong wants to help someone or destroy someone as easily as turning his hand. Children who do not understand, absolutely do not lie. Xiao Tong was still standing there calmly wanting to see if Zhu Ke could kill this cute girl next door. Ya Chun stepped up. He told him not to get hurt and look down on him. But with just one move of Ya Chun, Zhu Ke was lying on the ground. Xiao Tong wants to keep Zhu Q's life. To go back and tell him Ying from today onwards the person in charge in this city is Xiao Tong he. Xiao Tong looked at Zhu Ke smiling, welcome to cooperate at any time. And if you want to fight, you should have a coffin ready. The next morning, while Lin Fan was still sleeping, Yu Long came to find him. When he woke up, he took him to the back of the mountain to practice. Yu Long gave Lin Fan one of his swords. The sword is both sharp and sharp. Yu Long wants Lin Fan to attack him with the sword. Lin Fan asked him if he was joking. He didn't want to kill people. Yu Long said if he didn't want to kill him, he wouldn't be able to touch him. Yu Long reassured him to use his best. If that was the case, then Lin Fan raised his sword and prepared to attack. Extraordinary movements, have not learned through swordsmanship. Not knowing how to use spiritual energy, after analyzing Yu Long, he came to the conclusion that Lin Tian Tong did not teach Lin Fan. Lin Fan started to attack. His speed made Yu Long feel it was too fast. Lin Fan also looked at him with unbelievable eyes. No matter how fast he was, he dodged. His aptitude for breaking the stone was better than he imagined. But just the technique that he learned in the 2nd year of sword training, wanting to reach him is still far away. Hearing that made Lin Fan feel more secure. He was still a bit nervous just now, so he only used 50% of his strength. Lin Fan's second blow knocked down a large tree trunk. Yu Long tried to look calm, saying that was Lin Fan's full strength. As expected, it's very difficult to get him to aim at his heart. He reduced the difficulty to cut his hand. Lin Fan agreed. He couldn't understand how this teacher's feelings changed and he got points. Li Fan's next slash broke a large rock. Yu Long coughed. It seems that it is still difficult to cut the hand, so just cut the clothes. He didn't understand why he got so many points. This white shirt guy kept reducing the difficulty. Lin Fan guessed that this guy looked calm on the outside but was actually panicking on the inside. By the time Lin Fan returned to the finished shop, there were already many people queuing outside to wait. Lin Fan didn't expect so many people to line up. He was late, so he quickly went inside. Inside, Uncle Lee kept explaining that there was no such wonton yet. He apologized to everyone that their chef had not arrived this morning. When he saw Lin Fan enter the shop, he broke out in a sweat because he had to explain to customers. He asked him where he went early in the morning. There were many customers waiting. Lin Fan stroked his head to find an excuse to answer. He said he just returned from exercise. Everyone sitting nearby heard it and replied that it was okay, they were in no hurry. Wen Ruan saw Lin Fan return and also went out. She warned him not to be so late again or she would tell him the benefit. Wen Ruan couldn't help but admit that he had some bravery. Lin Fan helped her and other sisters find a good way to make a living. However, that did not mean that she could ignore his mistakes. Lin Fan quickly went to the kitchen to prepare. Yesterday he earned too much, a total of 620,000. Right now he can have as many as he wants, according to the probability that he will definitely get a new skill. While Lin Fan was messing around in the shop, Wei Lian came to take pictures. He thinks you have hurt him and lost his job, now he has to pay the price. Right at the school gate, but dare to use KTV girls as staff. He will send these pictures to the office of the school's principal and the principal. Right after that, Lin Fan enthusiastically led Wei Lian inside the restaurant to meet the principal and the staff of the administrative office who were having breakfast. Lin Fan in class is bored creating TikTok. He wants to come here to earn points. Unexpectedly, when I created the application, I met Ya Chun invited to go live. Friends around were amazed when Lin Fan got to know Ya Chun. Ya Chun constantly calls people to give gifts and follow Lin Fan. Lin Fan's two friends quickly ran to see if it was really Ya Chun. He was amazed. Lin Fan was able to live stream with Ya Chun. A person who interrupted the screen said he gave Ya Chun a month's worth of food. Another came in claiming to be her loyal fan. Everyone passing by opened their ears wide to hear the three talking with Ya Chun. Hearing the request of a person who wanted Lin Fan to invite Ya Chun to dinner, all the people chased him and wanted to go with him. Lin Fan could only run away from them. But in front of him, a group of girls stopped him. They talked all day and only knew how to call Ya Chun but didn't know them. These girls even scornfully said that Ya Chun was originally a boy. At this time, the people behind also came and quarreled. Ya Chun is so pretty and cute, why don't they have the right to like it? A big girl came out and asked if they didn't find it disgusting. It's so cute and beautiful for a boy and girl like them to be cute. The more those girls talked, the more vulgar the words became. Lin Fan couldn't take it anymore, so he put one leg out to knock those people out. He did not expect that his single kick would get 30,000 fans. Of course, this is a shortcut to accumulate points. The school bell also rang at the same time. He said goodbye to her and then prepared to go to class. When he entered the second grade, the other guy still didn't forgive him but kept praising him. The two wanted to ask Lin Fan to ask Ya Chun to go out to dinner so that the two of them could meet. The two also told him that one of Luke Kiet's martial arts faculty liked Ya Chun. Those are the 6 strongest people in the martial arts department. Xiao Mei Mei is also one of them, but in terms of strength, she only ranks 6th. From 2 classmates, Lin Fan knows that the sword logic in the martial arts department is the captain of Ya Chun's Shenzhou University fan club. In addition, he is also the biggest fan of Ya Chun. He also stated that whoever took his Ya Chun, he would kill that person. The friend told Lin Fan that if he knew they were going to eat with Ya Chun, he would explode with anger. So the other two told him to absolutely keep it a secret or he wouldn't be done with him. After saying goodbye to the other two, Lin Fan still feels extremely happy right now. Today he found a shortcut to earn points. Now just thinking about it can't help but laugh. At this time, another person suddenly attacked Lin Fan, but he discovered and dodged in time. The person who came was the person 2 of his friends mentioned earlier. He was extremely angry right now. When Lin Fan heard him call him the 3rd story, he couldn't help but laugh. This guy's imagination is too rich. Lin Fan made it clear to him that he and Ya Chun were nothing. He didn't want to hear fallacious explanations. He must have said these words because he felt he was afraid. He also said that Lin Fan is not true love but is dirtying his Ya Chun. He waved his sword and yelled at him to hurry up and die. The third person, feel the jump of death. Lin Fan stopped him and asked him if he really wanted to take his life. At this time, he felt that Lin Fan was a person who could not simply dodge his moves. But right now, he still doesn't know his level, so it's best to be careful slowly. Lin Fan continued to explain that the two of them were just friends. At this time, he received a phone call to leave, not forgetting to say that he would not spare Lin Fan. Lin Fan now stood there not knowing what to do. He wondered what karma he had created in his previous life. Lin Fan looked up at the sky and asked if he had broken his old age this year. This year is also not the year of his destiny, but why do so many things happen? Lin Fan thought about it and didn't know what the reason was, and now he didn't want to think about it anymore, so he left it. When he got home, Uncle Lee had finished cooking and asked him to sit down and eat. Looking at the colorful food table, Li Xiaoying praised nonstop. At this time, Wen Ruan came out from the kitchen with a bowl of soup she had just cooked. Lin Fan suddenly asked why she was here. Wen Ruan asked in return if he had any business or did not welcome her. Lin Fan didn't mean it. One more person, one more pair of chopsticks. At this time, Uncle Lee looked at the bowl of soup in Wen Ruan's hand and said that she rarely went to the kitchen. Everyone had a lot of money. But when I opened the bowl of soup for everyone to see, everyone made an excuse to leave. Lin Fan said that he's a bit unwell right now, so he can't eat rice. Holding the TV remote in his hand, Uncle Lee said he wanted to watch the news. The news was broadcast on TV this morning that the Xiao family group held a press conference for a new product at the convention center. Lin Fan looked at the group thinking that it was the group of Xiao Mei Mei's family. Xiao Tong said that the Xiao family group has been researching and developing artificial intelligence AI chips for many years. Can control as well as use artificial intelligence robots developed by their corporation. Immediately after an unidentified guest entered, there was a loud explosion. It is not possible to transition to the image directly inside. The host said he did not know if it was related to security issues or not. The whole building was blocked. At this time, the sky outside also exploded with beautiful fireworks, and Li Xiaoying happily ran out to watch. Lin Fan knew that this was the Zhao family's distress signal fireworks. Lin Fan and Wen Ruan set out to go there. The two of them went inside through the ventilation. Inside was Zhao Lingyu and Meng Chang fighting. The other two were surprised when they saw Lin Fan. Lin Fan explained that the two of them fired a shot through the clouds. He saw it, so he quickly came over. Zhao Lingyu asked why Wen Ruan also came here. She said that Uncle Lee sent her over to help. Zhao Nhu Yen told her to remember to thank Uncle Lee. While they were talking, they were attacked. Lin Fan suddenly did not know where the whip came from and attacked everyone. Meng Chang said that a D-class martial artist had a knack for hybrid chemistry in the legend, which can make plants grow bloodthirsty. That person is one of the 6 martial arts masterpieces that scare people when they hear the name. Meng Chang reminds everyone to be careful. The person in this room fainted because of her poison. After a while, she said that even if she called in more people, the 2 rescuers that would come would not be her match. Meng Chang asks everyone to leave this place for him. The 3 quickly went up to the roof to find their 3 young masters to take back the chip. When she heard that, she wanted to stop him. Before the 3rd master activates the chip and completes the plan of this stage, everyone should not approach him. She calmly said everyone would have to bury themselves in this building. Meng Chang rushed to fight and told the 3 of them to hurry. She marveled at Meng Chang's intelligence. However, using poisonous gas to form a protective layer of airflow, it also repels carnivorous flowers. Zhao Lingyu told him to be careful when he finished his work, then it would be suitable for everyone on the rooftop. She asked Meng Chang if she could stop the other 5 heroes. Tonight, almost all the members of the 6 heroes are from the martial arts department. She laughed loudly now that they were running and reincarnating. Meng Chang smiled and said that the feng shui master of the Zhao family had calculated a hexagram for Miss Zhao Lingyu. He said, Zhao Lingyu will live to be 100 years old. Live her life happily. That's why the person who died in this building today is the bastard of the 3 young masters of the Xiao family. Lin Fan did not expect that the legendary martial arts masterpiece would become the power of the Xiao family. Lin Fan thinks that Xiao Mei Mei is also a member of the 6 martial arts masters. Maybe he will have to fight with her today too. Meng Chang used the first seal to attack. The carnivorous plant arms on the plant body were gradually beaten down by him. It was only then that she felt so scared that it was not okay. No, the normal root ropes will be broken down by the poisonous gas on Meng Chang's arms and corrode them. Currently her physical attacks are useless. But in a moment of neglect, Meng Chang showed her weakness. It seemed that the poison gas was overused, and she saw that his physical strength was about to become unbearable. She brought out a pepper pink needle into the cannibal branches around her. Meng Chang panicked and asked what she was doing. It is a substance that helps to rapidly decompose and reassemble plant cells. It helps the plant to quickly increase the density of the roots, becoming extremely sturdy, thereby increasing the attack power of plants. By the way, it makes it even more bloodthirsty. She repeats, she said, you won't be able to leave this building. Yes, she also reminded Meng Chang in a friendly manner that the poison gas in his hand is now completely useless to the plant. One of the advantages of an enhancement potion is that it takes poison as food. The more poison, the more attack power. She asked Meng Chang to let the poison gas in as he pleased. Lin Fan's people were currently trying to run as fast as they could to the rooftop. After walking for a while, she was stopped by a girl, and when she got there, she knew it was the old man. She breathed a sigh of relief that everyone finally arrived. Lin Fan asked her why she came here to try to hinder them. No, old Zhao was afraid that everyone would run into trouble while acting. Before the press conference started, it was arranged for her to infiltrate here. The old man pointed behind her that the door went straight to the 3rd floor. Lin Fan walked over and reached out to thank her. She yelled at her not to play this game with her. She wasn't the kind of righteous person either. She brought out her weapon and said even now she wanted to kill him. Bang Tianhong has now put her on the list of traitors who want to get rid of. Meanwhile, old Zhao decided to keep her to protect her. The condition is to come to aid a few people this time. At this time another person appeared. Zhao Ling Yu knew this person. Wu Jian Shui is one of the martial arts masters of secret weapons. Looking at this person's body, Lin Fan asked if this person was acting as a vampire. He said the 3 young masters had ordered silver to prevent anyone from setting foot on the top floor. The wrongdoer will kill without forgiveness. The old man turned around and yelled at everyone to tell them to go first. This place should be left to her alone. Lin Fan tells her to be careful, they have to go first. Wu Jian Shui observed the old man's speed and accuracy were not bad. He asked which teacher she had studied to acquire these skills. The old man coldly shouted, unable to speak. Her flying knife mastery like this is really powerful. Returning to Meng Chang's battle, the plant fluid secreted by the enhanced plant's roots can neutralize and dissolve toxins. No matter how much he releases the poison, it is useless. Meng Chang will not let the plant girl prevail this time. But she still hadn't seen the problem of disdain for Meng Chang's words. Don't think that a little more specificity will win her over, and don't forget to tease him as a poison gas guy. The first seal on Meng Chang's arm has been released, which will greatly increase the concentration of poisonous gas. At the same time, it will also cause adrenaline to bring disease into the body. Within 10 minutes, it will suddenly emit a movement speed that is almost unmatched by anyone. The only weakness is that after 10 minutes, the leg will be temporarily paralyzed. Soon after, Meng Chang broke the seal placed on him by the tree girl. She still looked at Meng Chang with disdain, but did not feel the danger coming to her. Because she thought that even the weak point after unsealing Meng Chang told her. She said Meng Chang is too optimistic in the current circumstances. Meng Chang of course knows what he will do to be so optimistic. Because you can be solved in 10 minutes. So he doesn't have to worry about the next 10 minutes. When she heard it, she was very angry and asked Meng Chang to stop talking. In an instant he had jumped to attack the plant human girl. She couldn't help but feel the speed was too fast. But just as she wanted, she was just waiting for Meng Chang to come over here to attack. The plant human girl released carnivorous tendrils that attacked Meng Chang. She said it was too shy to bother him to make food for her baby. But obviously the plant hasn't eaten yet the carnivorous flower has not reacted. Not long after that, the plant human girl was also knocked to the ground. She did not expect that after Meng Chang released the poisonous gas, it could be so powerful. In the difficult moment when the poison touches the roots, it is immediately corroded. Coming to Lin Fan's people now, even though they are far away, they still have not seen the enemy. Wen Ruan was curious why the watchman on this floor hadn't appeared yet. Zhao Ling Yu guessed that person must be in an ambush somewhere. She asked everyone to look around. Lin Fan asked the 2 of you not to worry, that I was here to protect you. But right after that, both Lin Fan and Zhao Lingyu were attacked from behind. One move immediately caught the opponent's moon point. At this time she came out from the inside. She mysteriously sings that autumn has come. The leaves are slowly turning yellow. Only that arrogant chrysanthemum welcomes the cruel autumn wind. Wen Ruin angrily shouted to find out where the damn thing was. She appeared and scolded Wen Ruin for being her daughter, saying that she dodged well. Zhao Lingyu said that she did not expect her taste to be too salty. Even Lin Fan that she didn't spare. What a powerful person. She angrily asked who called her four-eyed girl to braid her sides to avoid her. Wen Ruin heard that and was extremely angry. She asked who she called four-eyed. What a witch. While the two sides were still arguing, Lin Fan used clairvoyance on the other witch. Soon he saw the acupuncture points and meridians and found the right weak spot. One move was won. Lin Fan was pleased that customers were worried and enjoyed. Zhao Lingyu standing outside scolding as a shameless trick. Lin Fan ignored that scolding. He said to press more brave acupoints. He asked the two of them to wait a while before they could leave. Wen Ruin stopped Lin Fan's actions. She asked the two of them to go ahead so she could deal with her. Lin Fan asked her what she was talking about. He was about to finish her and the three of them could go. Wen Ruin asked the two of them not to worry about her, hurry and go. Lin Fan and Zhao Lingyu listened to Wen Ruin and decided to go first. Before leaving, Lin Fan tried to turn around and tell her that the weak point of the witch was on the tip of her tongue. Although her tongue can point acupressure points very flexibly, with a little concentration, the point at the base of the tongue becomes a weak point. Lin Fan told Wen Ruin to take care of himself and go first. Wen Ruin walked in front of the witch and broke her arms non-stop. The witch hesitantly asked what she wanted to do with it. Wen Ruin said that Lin Fan had given her acupressure earlier, now it's her turn to lend a hand. Let her see that her skills are not inferior to Lin Fan. Seeing this, the witch thought it was unfortunate. She had to quickly pull the distance first. Otherwise, it would be impossible to use the tongue to attack her. After the distance was far enough, it used electric light dragon poison dragon. It looked at Wen Ruin and didn't know what happened when it entered and danced. She couldn't predict her next move right now. Wen Ruin said she was too naive. In the years she was at KTV, the reason why she was able to stay firmly in the ace position. It's not just about having a squishy face and good acupressure skills. But performing choreography for guests at KTV is the usual job of the cardinal. Then as a professional card player, pampering customers is the principle of God. During the performance, the choreography must not be stopped for any reason. Be sure to perform all the choreography for the guests. But at that time, there will be drunk customers smashing things. Being the head of the KTV is the trump card as well as to keep the job, of course, not to dispute with the customer. So she'll use this choreography to dodge. No matter what the guests throw, they must continue to perform and smile. That is also the reason why Wen Ruin has the current dancing skills. The Lin fans just need to get through this floor to find that bastard Xiao Tong. He said tonight's opponents were all tough. He hoped the people on this floor would be a little easier to deal with. But when the two entered, they were surprised by the opponent's appearance. He welcomes the two of you to this floor. He calls the two of you before he hits you by enjoying his perfect body. Zhao Lingyu called out too much for a madman. Two people who wanted to quickly deal with the hill rushed up. He was angry and dared to insult him with words that he would let the two of you experience. When he caught sight of Lin Fan, he felt his invincible aura. Lin Fan asked Zhao Lingyu that the martial arts faculty are all male and female, aren't they female? Zhao Lingyu scornfully said that kids like this are special cases. He was currently looking at Lin Fan passionately for some reason. He could feel his heart rate starting to increase. This face and aura are truly precious things in the world. He wants to be with Lin Fan to start a thrilling brotherhood, a story that belongs only to the two of them. He asked if he was interested in going swimming with him. Zhao Lingyu hit Lin Fan's hand and said it was delicious. It was a draw. He stood by thinking that this bastard Zhao Lingyu kept moving his arms and legs, making him angry. He knew that the two of them wanted to rush to find his trio. Not impossible, negotiable. The condition is that only one person is allowed to go up. Zhao Lingyu happily said she understood what he meant and let her go, leaving Lin Fan to him. He said that letting her go was just to give her life. How terrible would it be for the person chosen by the three young masters to be a bodyguard besides the real strength? Zhao Lingyu was worried after hearing that. She changed her position with Lin Fan. She would stay and let him go upstairs, making the guy in this room extremely angry. Returning to the battle of the old man, if the maidservant had the courage to stand for so long with him, she was the first. The old man told him to put less gold on her face, but she thought that he was too defensive and she had run out of flying knives. He also saw the problem and asked if she didn't have much left. He's also the last one of his ninja darts, but he still thinks he's pretty smart, having already planned it out. The battle earlier was just warming up, but now it's just the beginning. His father is Japanese, half Japanese blood. Their family is the ninja clan with the longest history. The gears of the times still rotate. If we continue to maintain the traditional chi of the ancient ninja, we will eventually be eliminated by history. To keep up with the times, their family uses traditional ninjutsu technology. The group of the Biao family also intends to invest capital to support. They lack capital. The Biao family lacks talented people who can make up for it. Because he wanted the Biao family to constantly provide capital to their family, he always served the Biao family. He said that in order to do a good job and complete the task tonight, she absolutely must die. They have put all their efforts into researching lawn gloves that can radiate physical aura, possessing tremendous damage. The most perfect thing about his gauntlet is the unlimited number of lawn spells. The old man asked him if he would mind if he kept babbling there. He repeated again that tonight she must die. While attacking, he made the old man's face bleed a long way. He jokingly apologized for not carefully brushing her face. The old man cried out in delight. She only had the last flying knife left. Use all your remaining strength to fight a battle. What he said was quite good, and it was good, and he was right. The old man hid 2 flying knives behind his back and said, she will let him die quickly. As Lin Fan continued to go upstairs, he saw a horrible scene, the wall covered in blood. He didn't know what happened to end up with this hideous scene. But Lin Fan didn't have much time to think, so he decided to ignore it. The completion of the quest to find the 3 lakhs is more important than what lies ahead. Lin Fan went to the elevator straight to the 36th floor of the top floor. In the elevator, Lin Fan was still thinking about the scene he had just lost. Looking at the scene like this, the tricks of the Biao family are also cruel. The background is really deep, the elevator quickly arrives, but the surrounding is pitch black. Here, Lin Fan unexpectedly met the guy who liked Ya Chun, who was always looking for him. He was also a little surprised when he saw Lin Fan, but then looked down with disdain. He said the world was so small, he thought he was a stranger but his son of a bitch. Lin Fan also did not expect that he would work for the Biao family. When he heard that, he replied that maybe he went to work for Lin Fan again. Lin Fan said a scene like this, it seems that before he arrived, he had killed many people. He stood there thinking that he had never killed innocent people, but that was actually a way of showing love. He recalled the previous scene when the 3 young masters and Ya Chun left. Before leaving, the 3rd young master gave instructions after he went up there. Watch out for this floor and be careful not to let the Zhao family in. Before Ya Chun left with the 3 young girls, she told him to be careful and try hard. After the elevator closed, he received the feeling that he was involuntarily falling in love. Can make the heroic knight erupt in enthusiasm. Only the destined princess Ya Chun can do it. His love is so beautiful, but he considers the place where his beautiful memories are kept as a crime scene. His family is the #1 knight order of the Empire of the Sun that never sets in the West. Rely on powerful Western swordsmanship and the body's invincible reflexes. Starting in the Middle Ages, their knights fought on the battlefield. The invincible victory helped them gain an illustrious reputation in the West, making others afraid. A knight of the Royal Army's knights, capable of fighting against hundreds of men. Whether it is the Industrial Revolution or the Scientific and Technical Revolution, they have always been the most progressive initiators in the world. They worship strength and pursue evolution, so they have always been researching the ultimate development of the human body. Muscles, reflex nerves, cerebellum and human motor systems have all been enhanced by them to the extreme with advanced technology. Up until now, the Sun Knights never set. They were still existences that frightened everyone who heard their name in this world. He said that today he will definitely beat Lin Fan to death. For the honor of the night the sun never sets and even more for his Ya Chun. At night, he absolutely wouldn't let Lin Fan get to the top floor. Lin Fan thinks that the space in the elevator is too narrow, making it difficult to exert strength. Moreover, if you hit it inside, if you damage the elevator, it's easy to fall. 32 stories high is no joke. He said he was still agonizing over when he would meet you to calculate the accounts. Tonight Lin Fan offered herself to the door again. He said that tonight Lin Fan's life will be his, and Princess Ya Chun's will be his. Lin Fan asked him how he knew it was a princess. What if it was a prince? He continued to say that he had the guts to come here. He admired him very much. When Lin Fan heard that, he thought that his princess was also a male. He was quite impressed. Before the battle started, Lin Fan opened the system for normal withdrawal. But the heads are all just wontons. Lin Fan can't wait to come to this important moment and stop laughing. The Balala system immediately replied that it had nothing to do with it, it was just bad luck. He stood next to him and watched him turn from wonton to wonton again. He doesn't understand what an idiot like you is doing, like playing a shapeshifter. He thought that there must be something strange. He had to fight quickly. It won't be long before the person who is dangerous is him. When he saw that he was about to attack, Lin Fan asked him to wait. He was still not ready, only a few seconds left. At this point, Lin Fan has no choice but to give up his dignity to play bad. He threw countless wontons at him, making it impossible for him to dodge. Flexibly dodging limbs and mouths constantly swearing. Wonton is a battle, he is playing bad and withdrawing rewards. At this time, the system congratulates Lin Fan who has just drawn a new talent. He finally successfully dodged and rushed to Lin Fan's side. He told him to act enough. Once this rare horsepower is used, no opponent will be able to see tomorrow's sun. He said that Lin Fan is so weak and yet his face that bothers Ya Chun is trash. But he did not expect that Lin Fan only made him fall to the ground with just one move. Luckily, just now, Lin Fan pulled out the genius sprint skill. Lin Fan told the system this skill is really cool, the reflexes are really top. Now that he is lying on the ground, this is a good opportunity for him to run, time is up. Lin Fan quickly ran upstairs, he didn't know how everyone was. The situation of Meng Cheng who is currently fighting with the girl is not good. She admitted that he was indeed very strong, but meeting her now, the outcome would be different. She said this poison beast would devour him to the bone tonight. This is the first real combat application of the High Instinct TR Enhancing Potion. Meng Cheng did not expect to unseal the second stage, but was forced to this step. The ultimate advantage of the Enhanced TR Enhancement Potion is infinite regeneration, she said. Even being poisoned requires only one healthy cell out of hundreds of millions of plant cells. It is also not possible to stop the regeneration of healthy cells when recovering from a wound, releasing any cells that contain toxins. Even if he used poisonous gas to make them melt, it would be useless. She guessed that there was not much time left to maintain the second stage of unsealing. Meng Cheng thought that now he still had to fight monsters in an unstable state, and needed to win quickly. She said he just had a little poison on his hand and it wouldn't do him any good. Meng Cheng repeated what she just said, he was only slightly poisoned. Meng Cheng then laughed and said she was too naive. Before working for the Zhao family, he was a member of the world-famous assassin organization. He worked hard to become an elite member of the organization. He then poisoned himself and fell. The organization could no longer tolerate him and eventually fired him. When he was close to death, he met Zhao Lingyu. Now he will show her the powerful power of poison Meng Cheng. Soon after, he released more than 100% of the second stage toxic gas. Poison quickly covered the surroundings, eventually it reached around the plant girl. She let out an indistinct, monotonous scream. Meng Cheng said this is the true power of poisonous gas, no one can withstand. After releasing the poison they both fell down. No one can continue to fight when poisoned. Lin Fan entered the elevator and started going to the top floor where the three young masters were carrying out his plan. When entering the elevator, Lin Fan couldn't stop sighing, the latter was more difficult than the former. It's the last floor, I'm the enemy that's getting harder and harder. The Balala system told Lin Fan to spend a few points to see if any skills or props can be drawn, or it's not bad to have a backup. Lin Fan felt that it was right, just the name of the swordsman gave him a headache. Lin Fan started drawing lots, I told him not to throw the wontons out. Balala replies how many times he said this is just luck. But then the system congratulated him on pulling out a new prop. The system that scolded Lin Fan also had this bad luck. He smiled, feeling quite believable. The Balala system curses nonsense, otherwise why is it so expensive? It asked him if he wanted to use what he just pulled out. Insight, gorgeous female demon, death note, cloak of invisibility and clay clone. Lin Fan didn't need to think and replied immediately. He wanted to take advantage of not reaching the top floor, to get used to it. Booma Lin Fan has turned into two pieces. Except for a few dead ankles, it's exactly the same. The Balala system told him the prop would be controlled by his consciousness. It's best to use it as bait or find a way. Still not sure how to face the enemy on this floor, doing so is the most secure. He sent his clone outside to check the situation first. Lin Fan is temporarily inside, let's see how the situation outside. If he guessed correctly, the 3 young masters will be behind the door over there. Wait for the clone to probe to see if it's all eaten, then rush in to catch it. Unexpectedly, the clone just arrived and was slashed to the ground. Lin Fan saw that scene and couldn't help but think that the action was too cruel. Now was not the time to see people being cruel, he needed to rush forward. Lin Fan couldn't understand why that person attacked and just stood still. Currently, Ya Chun is not expecting that the person she just attacked is Lin Fan. Until the two saw each other's face again, both were extremely surprised. Returning to Zhao Ling Yu's fight, she has now beaten people to the point of no return. He didn't believe what he had just endured. Impossible, there was no mention in intelligence that Zhao Ling Yu knew how to fight. Zhao Ling Yu calmly stood to the side looking at her miserable appearance. She smiled as if he miscalculated, thinking that if he used his bare hands to fight, it would be easier to deal with her. He heard the tabloid rumors outside and thought he knew her well. Zhao Ling Yu told him that in her 4th year, she had participated in the national taekwondo competition. She did not lose again, not careful enough to snatch the first prize. If she could have relied on her own efforts to win the taekwondo championship, then she can also use her bravery to take back what belongs to her. She said his owner of the 3 young masters not only took away a part of the business documents, it was also a dignity that she had to dig out her guts to protect. He got angry and yelled at the bitch who made his precious thing run away, but still standing here with him. In a few moves he transformed, gaining a pair of adorable wings. Archer and Archer of the Moon God mode Heart Maiden. A handsome male soldier, a sand desert combines strength and beauty. After he transformed, he said he destroyed her in the name of Hang Na because of his treasure. After transforming, he used his weapon to attack. An arrow Mo Moon God Infinite Power. Once hit, it will turn to ash. Zhao Ling Yu did not give up, she also tried to counterattack. So now she doesn't need to let him hit. Immediately the guy fell to the ground, thrown away. Sesame coloring also causes a whole bunch of melon seed messes. It's not just about playing archery from a distance. She yelled at Zhao Ling Yu not to be proud of winning once. She's not the type of person who loses once and gets frustrated. Since the competition, she has been practicing advanced taekwondo techniques every day. She has soon been no longer the same. It was such a coincidence that she was the one Zhao Ling Yu fought with in that year's competition. Zhao Ling Yu said that only the mouth is useless, time is the reason. After that, the two of them rushed to fight each other mercilessly. She asked Zhao Ling Yu to stop looking down on others. Zhao Ling Yu said kicking is not meant to be played, and then raised his foot to attack. After being hit, she became angry, her face even more unsightly. Zhao Ling Yu, who looked down on her, didn't make much progress either. She angrily kicked at Zhao Ling Yu and told her to put off her bossy demeanor. She said that tonight she's going to sharpen her ladylike character. Zhao Ling Yu was hit by a rock and angrily scolded the damn child who dared to touch her face. She said she dared to anger her and her grandpa. Zhao Ling Yu asked if it was worth it for all women to play together, then slapped her in the face with a heavy slap. She gets angry when she dares to slap her, yells that no one has ever dared to do that to her. Go to hell, you bitch. Zhao Ling Yu was grabbed by her hair and yelled to let go of her hair. She worked very hard. She wants to calculate the book True Lin is stealing her mistress. True Lin is saying that if you were her real boyfriend, she wouldn't want to kill her. Who would want to marry that kind of person? She said she had a hard time escaping from the house to save Lin Fan. Unexpectedly, in the middle of the road, I met a third person like that. Zhao Ling is saying that if she really wanted to save Lin Fan, she wouldn't be here to fight. This sentence made both of them wake up and quickly run to find Lin Fan. Lin Fan knew that his change of opponent was Ya Chun, so he was a little lenient. He didn't know how to use his strength to fight her. But unexpectedly, while the two were fighting, the previous knight appeared. He wanted to protect Ya Chun. Lin Fan asked him why he ran here. Didn't he have been beaten before? I don't know how this idiot got up here. Ya Chun explained that having the power to open the door of the Biao family group, it is possible to come here by a backup passage. She just didn't know how he got this power. He lay on the ground weakly, telling Ya Chun not to worry about him being here. Ya Chun looked at him, then asked who he was. This question kept repeating in his head until he vomited blood. Lin Fan thinks he died a heroic sacrifice. But for now, just ignore that idiot, you need to take care of yourself first. The guy below has quickly finished dealing with the old man. He is ready to go upstairs to support the third young master. He says all resistance in front of the great ninja is useless. What a waste of his time. The old man now remembered his childhood memories. She asked her father why he asked her to take good care of herself. Her father said that she was the first person to possess the power of Immortal Tiger in the legend of the White Tiger family over the past 100 years. In the near-death state, the body will activate the power of Immortal Tiger to open most of the immense veins of the whole body. At the same time, it will awaken another strong inner reflective personality. He said the daughter would no longer be herself. The power of Immortal Tiger is being able to predict the near future. But also because of that, it will cause the veins of the men's door to be severely damaged until the actual death. This power is too strong, perhaps later will bring many kinds of disasters. Lin Fan asked Ya Chun why he went to work for the Biao family. Ya Chun apologizes to him, she really can't speak right now. Lin Fan said that now he also temporarily apologizes to her. He saw that the main pulse of Black Iron Father Sam was concentrated in the abdomen. So as long as he attacks that place, Ya Chun tells him not to attack, she still hasn't finished. The speed and power advantage of the boxing master attacked with full force on the critical place in the abdomen. But soon Lin Fan was beaten and thrown away. Ya Chun watched him fall against the wall a little, to spare the guilt of not listening to her at all. The characteristic of Black Iron Tonic Sam is that the stronger the force, the greater the reaction. It's also about fighting hard. Lin Fan said it's hard for him. Zhao Ling Yu and Xiao Mei Mei were using the elevator to find Lin Fan, but they kept arguing. Xiao Mei Mei screamed as Zhao Ling Yu's hair hit her. She said she didn't bother touching her, dirtying her hair. She didn't know how the people on the other floor were doing. Xiao Mei Mei said there were other floors she didn't know, but there was one that she conveniently solved while passing by. Zhao Ling Yu asked who was the floor she dealt with. It was the one with the long tongue in her rummage and a girl with glasses. Those two people went from fighting fiercely to becoming two people confiding together. After fighting for a long time, the two discovered that they went to the same school. The long-tongued girl is also Wen Ruan Sr. After that, the two put a stop to fighting and sat down to talk about their ideals of life. She has no intention of coming here tonight, she has no interest in fighting and killing. Because Shenzhou University has shares of the Biao family. So the three young masters also agreed to make everyone his tool. Bilala looked at Lin Fan's situation and said that he is currently in a passive situation, unable to actively attack. Lin Fan did not expect a hot streamer to be so strong. If you don't withdraw, you will often get a few new skills, you can't find a way out. Lin Fan decided not to fight anymore and ran to the first place. He also said that Ya Chun won't be as strong as him and then laughed. Bilala asks him when it's time to come and be decent. He said not to fight Ya Chun but continued to drag on. Tiu Tam Thu is also finished with the matter of returning to soak his feet. But when he got to the door, he was stopped by the F-class, Feng Shui, magic. As expected, a streamer like Ya Chun who is a master of these techniques also uses them skillfully. Lin Fan felt that he could not escape and returned to talk to Ya Chun. He just wanted to stop the plot of the three young masters and didn't want to hurt anyone. Lin Fan hopes Ya Chun won't stop him anymore. After hearing that, Ya Chun said she didn't want to harm Lin Fan either. She said that she really has her own suffering that can't be told the truth. While she was talking, Lin Fan called for Bilala. It was time for the happy draw again. Bilala asks what should he do if he can't pull out anything useful until now. Lin Fan said that the Bilala system should be less fussy for him to stop giving out wontons. Bilala gets angry and says if he had a hand it would have beaten him to death. How many times have I said it, you just have to rely on luck. Ya Chun continues to say that she just wants to be a better version of herself. So Ya Chun apologized to Lin Fan and then attacked without mercy. Lin Fan seriously asked once again if she would let him inside. She definitely couldn't, he could only use his own moves. Lin Fan once again wanted to attack Ya Chun's stomach. She reminded him not to hit again or he was the one who would be harmed. But this time he didn't attack hard, but decided to use it lightly. Two people Xiao Mei Mei and Zhao Ling Yu came to ask Lin Fan, who is the girl next to him now. He said the two of you misunderstood and it was a long story, but he could summarize it. Lin Fan said that Ya Chun's aunt came to visit, and her stomach would be able to feel a distinct pain. Acupressure massage can greatly reduce pain. Zhao Lingyu rushed to hit Lin Fan and asked him if he thought she was retarded. What the hell did the pain reliever do? Xiao Mei Mei asked Zhao Lingyu what she was doing. This was their family's business, she didn't need to interfere. Zhao Lingyu shouted that the fiancé under the oral contract must also obey the 3 virtues and not eat behind her back. Even so, it is not allowed to act, let alone an oral contract that has no legal effect on marriage. The system, Balala told Lin Fan, the system can't handle the housework. I think the excuse is pretty convincing right now. It is true that he has created his own karma, and today, he did not get a good night's sleep. Xiao Tong saw through the surveillance system that his sister was also coming. He told Ya Chun that the chip's progress was nearing completion. The moment has come, absolutely nothing can happen. The chip that can fulfill her dream is about to be fulfilled. Xiao Tong said you don't want wasted efforts either. He said he put a lot of effort into Ya Chun's dream. Xiao Tong ordered the purple-haired man and the young lady of the Zhao family to die at the time of need. But don't damage his sister a hair. Lin Fan, after being tied up by Ya Chun, felt very confused. She said she would explain everything to him later. Lin Fan told Ya Chun this is still negotiable. Ya Chun didn't want to negotiate at all. She was no longer a real person anymore. Lin Fan asked back that she wasn't a real person. Ya Chun more accurately explained that she had undergone body transformation. She was soon no longer the Ya Chun before. Zhao Lingyu took the opportunity to attack while she was talking. Attacks suddenly like this she didn't believe she could block. But Ya Chun used the Ouyang family's black theory to attack her back. Zhao Lingyu said that the Ouyang family is the intersection with the Zhao family. As far as she knew, their family only passed on the black theory of fathers to their family members. Outsiders certainly cannot learn this elaborate. Who is Ya Chun after all? A while ago, the son of the entire Ouyang family who was the best at this husband had disappeared. This technique takes many years to be applied in real combat. Zhao Lingyu insisted that a little girl like her couldn't do it. These days, many D-class masters often lose contact. What did she and the 3 young masters do? Hearing that, Ya Chun wanted to prove it and told the truth. Originally, she was also a student of Shenzhou's martial arts department. At that time, her achievements were very good, and many people trusted and expected her. But that's not what she wants. Her dream is to become an excellent artist. For more than a year she was in the martial arts department, she still felt vague. I don't know if I should follow my heart's call or not. In the end, she decided to drop out of school to pursue her dream. Then she started making streamer efforts step by step, but still couldn't make it. Until she met Xiao Tong, he helped her become famous. She accepted to do artificial intelligence rehabilitation surgery for the body, to fit the use of the chip. Zhao Lingyu is a person who knows the chip well. The 3 lacks definitely don't just want her to fulfill her dream. No matter what people say, Ya Chun has decided that this path is hers to choose. She must continue on. Xiao Mei Mei attacked Ya Chun from behind. Zhao Yuling did not stand still. Tru Wei Lin asked Lin Fan to have them here, and then he thought of a way to go inside to prevent the 3 young masters from activating the chip. She thought the earlier attack might have been discovered, but now take advantage when she talks inattentively, attacking from both sides. Zhao Lingyu wanted to see how she would use the stolen Black Iron Father Sam. Lin Fan reminded 2 people, Xiao Mei Mei and Zhao Lingyu, not to try too hard or get injured. Zhao Lingyu realized that just now was Ke Zhu Tian's human manipulation move, but Ya Chun could. She asked Ya Chun if he had also killed Zhu Tian. Ya Chun said that before she left school, her major in the martial arts department was artistic and applied studies, but she stopped studying when she dropped out. As it turns out, no wonder the time to maintain like the string just now is also very low hardness. Yet she kept thinking why her string is not equal to Zhu Tian. Lin Fan shouted to Ya Chun to quickly solve the feng shui. There was not much time left. Zhao Lingyu shouted back at him. He didn't know how to solve it by himself. She took advantage of buying time for him, and he was still slow there. Ya Chun said she has always wanted to resolve it peacefully, and she has also advised the 2 to cooperate many times. Ya Chun prepares to act. If you don't cooperate, don't blame her for being rude. She wanted, with the true power of Black Iron Father Sam, to suppress everyone. Fortunately for everyone, the Black Iron Dad, stolen in the chip, has run out of time. Xiao Mei Mei says it's time for her to beat Ya Chun to death. Lin Fan stood outside guessing that the other moves had also run out of time. Balala System asks if he still has free time to take care of all the time. The time of feng shui has not yet ended to take advantage of the political work. The Balala system congratulates Lin Fan on opening 2 new secondary props. It's hard for Lin Fan to understand that he hasn't completed any quests yet. At that time, all the prizes were withdrawn from the wontons where there were new props. Balala explains the system's rule is that when the number of draws reaches 1,000 times, the props will unlock new props. What he received was a severing knife. It seems that his treatment is not bad. Zhao Ling Yu scolded a few guys. The attack and defense were absolutely flawless. Taekwondo's moves are almost impossible to break. The explosive power and reflexes are so terrible, melee combat is almost impossible to win. After a while, Tru Wei Lin also saw her weakness. Even though she can rob other people's techniques and skills, her background in martial arts is too bad, and her unstable lower body is her weakness. Ya Chun asked her what she was thinking. Just now, because of the style of her high heels, it was difficult to stand. The entrance exam of the martial arts department is almost one of 10,000 miles across the country. How can there be a weak point like an unstable lower body? Ya Chun said a little more. Maybe Xiao Tong's side is done. Ya Chun emphasized every sentence tonight that no one should be a stepping stone in her path. Lin Fan did not expect that the item he received was a nail cutter. Balala told him to hurry and call it to summon it, unleashing its power to cut everything. Don't procrastinate anymore or else you really don't have time. The second tool he received was a fat reducer. He began to control Lin Fan. Looking ahead, focus your mind on what you want to cut. Resolutely approach the goal in your heart. Always carry the 4 words, cut everything. Finally, thanks to that help, Lin Fan was able to open the door. He turned around and told Xiao Mei Mei and Tru Wei Lin to have solved the talisman and quickly went inside. At this time, Xiao Tong came out from the inside and said that this was the end. He asked if the mobs they had come here had done enough. He turned to ask Xiao Mei Mei if it would be fun to cooperate with outsiders to destroy the company. She asked what broke the company. This time he went too far. The other thing, temporarily, does not just say that it is only the business data. The Zhao family will definitely investigate. She asked Xiao Tong to stop and follow her home. Lin Fan said that just handing over the chip's data could end this play. Otherwise, he will not be polite anymore. Xiao Tong went to ask him what age he was. It had nothing to do with him. Xiao Tong went to Ya Chun's side and asked if she was okay. He apologized to Ya Chun. The plan failed. Zhao Ling Yu asked what failed, quickly returned the chip to her. Xiao Tong returned the chip, bringing back this scrap of hers. Now he no longer needs the chip. Just because of this tattered chip of hers, his Ya Chun suffered so much. In the chip there are 10 layers of firewall, which is about to break. The last layer can be activated. Xiao Tong said he was still wondering why the last class couldn't be broken. Lin Fan thought it was a waste of time tonight. Zhao Ling Yu doesn't feel right. It's not right for Xiao Tong to just hand it over. She cursed Xiao Tong, the sinister bastard, and he implanted a chip in Ya Chun's body. The skills learned and copied will also not be limited in time. What is more important is that the chip is activated and can be connected to the computer network of the Biao family company. Conduct large-scale synchronization easily. As long as the person implanted with the chip remained on Earth, he could give instructions to carry out the manipulation. Xiao Tong laughs as a perfect technology product. Ya Chun asks him if he's always been cheating on her from beginning to end. Xiao Tong said, why is it so difficult to speak like a fraud and take advantage? He said he did it all for her, but he had put something behind her neck, and she felt more and more uneasy. Ya Chun asks Xiao Tong if she only sees her as a tool to satisfy his own ambitions. He said if she thought so, then so be it. She already gave her face and still wants to get her face up. His home is eternally a business, and his basic entrepreneurial honesty remains. Whatever he agreed with her, he would definitely do it. But she also couldn't force him to brush his hand away without taking any profit. She asked if he said she was his good sister, why he treated her like that. Lin Fan couldn't hold it anymore and went up to punch him. Stealing the data of the Zhao family and bullying Ya Chun. After taking advantage and still hurting people, what kind of man is this? Xiao Mei Mei called this time you did something wrong and quickly followed her home. Zhao Ling Yu asked him to hand over the chip and this matter was over. Xiao Tong asked what if he didn't pay. Lin Fan came up wanting to continue hitting him. But Xiao Tong said that if you keep fighting, everyone will die, which is quite interesting. He has already self-destructed to the chip in Ya Chun's body. Not only would she explode herself, but the area within 3 kilometers of her surroundings had been detonated by a bomb that was remotely detonated by him. And the one who can turn off this sequence is only him, Xiao Tong. He said that the cooperation between the two of you is not over. Obediently listen to him. Otherwise she will have to carry her dream to hell. He gave her another 20 minutes of careful consideration. 20 minutes later the helicopter will come pick him up. At that time, if she would follow him, he would turn off the self-destruct sequence. Ya Chun didn't know what to do, but she really didn't want to die. Xiao Tong acted now. He pulled Lin Fan back and started hitting. He said before that you snatched his limited edition shirt. This time it was his turn to make him pay with his whole body. Ya Chun, standing next to him, unable to do anything, could only stammer out the names of Lin Fan and Xiao Tong. Xiao Mei Mei told him not to tease his brother-in-law. He didn't play that way. Zhao Ling Yu felt that this scene would be too bad if she didn't take a picture and post it. Xiao Tong announced into his headset to ask someone to open the way to the rooftop. The helicopter will land here shortly, just in case you guys mess around. Xiao Tong made everyone go to the rooftop first to get some fresh air. He said he had saved all the skills he learned earlier on the chip, only 2 minutes left. Xiao Tong asked Ya Chun to tell her decision. He ordered her to break Lin Fan's limbs and follow him. Xiao Tong asked if she wanted to bring her ideals to ashes. Ya Chun said her choice was Mr. Lin Fan. Xiao Mei Mei asked her why she chose Lin Fan over her brother. Because she didn't want to use the fulfillment of her dream as an excuse to hurt anyone. This is not her real self. When he took the opportunity to implant a chip in her aunt, she knew that this was not simple. Xiao Tong realized that the situation was not quite right. He needs to time the helicopter to get here, trying to buy time. He connected the headset again and asked when the helicopter would arrive. He was answered with about 15 minutes left. The other added that people probably didn't know that he tricked everyone. Ya Chun would explode. The person told him to hurry up and try to buy time so he wouldn't be discovered. Xiao Tong told him to shut up, because he turned on the speakerphone so everyone could hear. Now, Lin Fan has arrested Xiao Tong and forced him to pay with his body. So what should you do with him now? He asked what do you want to do to him. Lin Fan whispered every word and beat him to death. He asked if it couldn't be negotiated. Lin Fan thought for a moment and then asked to take the chip from Ya Chun's body. He walked up to Ya Chun and said how much thought he put on her. However, he also intends to train her to become a world superstar. Xiao Tong asked Ya Chun if she didn't mind. She made all his efforts wasted. Then, intending to hit Ya Chun, he said that hitting her a bit would not be too much. Zhao Ling Yu thought that this guy wanted to do something. This time Ya Chun didn't hold him back anymore, but used the power inherent in the chip to attack. Ya Chun hopes he won't be like that again. Xiao Tong was angry enough to dare to attack him. Xiao Tong is right that he is blind. Lin Fan told him to stop causing trouble. Now that he has nothing left, he is no match for everyone. Xiao Tong accepted him, asking him to take out the chip, and then she went away for him. But before he did that, he wanted to vent his anger first, and then move forward to attack. Again Ya Chun dodges easily, then starts attacking again. Tru Wei Lin asked Xiao Mei Mei what was wrong with her younger brother. He was beaten so much. Xiao Mei Mei said that from childhood to adulthood, she was extremely proud and honorable. Now his plan is discovered by everyone. Surely Xiao Tong now feels quite embarrassed, so he finds an object to vent. Ya Chun says she is not a traitor, she did not betray him. Now she just wants to go back to being Ya Chun, knowing that the left and right are wrong from before. She will work hard to fulfill her dream. As for injustices and crimes, she will flatly refuse. Lin Fan asked if he wanted to put chips in someone else's body. He also wanted to let Xiao Tong taste that painful feeling. But then he didn't do anything to harm him, just joking. Everyone made mistakes, let alone the case this time there was no murder. The chip was also returned. Today's story is just like a spoiled child's naughty game. Lin Fan even softly told him not to do such bad things in the future. Xiao Mei Mei asks him to see how good his brother-in-law is to him. The romantic turn of the head is more precious than gold. This time the Zhao family decided not to pursue. Zhao Yuling wished not to do these thefts in the future. Ya Chun said the fool knows the way back is not too late. Try to start over, Mr. Xiao Tong. He was angry but didn't know what to do. You bastard! Lin Fan dared to humiliate him. Lin Fan told him to believe that he would definitely be a good person. Tiu Fan was angry and loudly said not to raise his voice in front of him. He was not qualified to humiliate this young master. People standing outside say that walking in the same footsteps is the hard to remove nature. Xiao Tong asks people all day long on Lin Fan what good he has. He looked at Ya Chun and said that she doesn't have a chip right now, she's just a waste, to see what she does now. He put all his effort into her and she betrayed her. It's the kind of man who can't be male or female. Lin Fan couldn't hold back anymore and attacked him this time. What a fool. Lin Fan asked him if he was in pain. Ya Chun was once controlled by him and used to have this feeling. Before he got on the helicopter he talked about not being done today. He's not the kind of person who suffers and accepts it all in vain. On the helicopter, the old man asked his family what he was doing. Xiao Tong said that even though his brain has problems, his ear is not to the point of being damaged. He was just laughing, those idiots thought they won. Seeing Xiao Tong get off the bed, the old man quickly stopped him and told him to be careful because he was injured and couldn't get out of bed. They hurt him so badly, he really couldn't swallow the anger. Xiao Tong stood up and vowed to make Lin Fan's life worse than death. The old man asked the young master not to raise his hand. The old man asked if the chip he activated was self-destructing when it was taken out. Xiao Tong said that he has no brain, can't you see the happy smile on his face? Like he said he's not the type to suffer and let go. After activating the chip he immediately backed up the source code in the chip data. Just in case, he asked someone to send the source code to his private cloud, but it took half an hour. I thought that with Ya Chun as a subordinate, tonight's plan would be successful, who would have been betrayed by her. In the end, the situation could not be controlled, so everyone had to fight. Give his people time to upload backup of the source code. After loading, the helicopter also just arrived, can withdraw the whole body. Zhao Ling Yu was extremely angry when she heard about it. Xiao Tong was very pleased, now he has regained the initiative. He will definitely make everyone pay for tonight's actions. Lin Fan kept thinking why is he so easy to deal with, but unexpectedly he was played for a while. Xiao Mei apologized to her, so she expected him to play a new trick. Zhao Ling Yu said that if he had that thing he would control the world. First she needed to go back and discuss it with her grandfather. Finally Lin Fan and Xiao Mei returned to school. Anyway, it was already morning. Lin Fan did not stop yawning, staying up all night was too sleepy. Xiao Mei asks him not to complain anymore. The weather is nice today, so the mood should be up. In class, Lin Fan was always thinking about last night, which made it impossible for him to concentrate on studying. The data of the Zhao family is still stolen by Xiao Tong. Lately, too many things have happened to him, beyond the scope of Lin Fan's perception. Not only was the chip implantation far beyond today's technology, but it was also the first time meeting the Balala system. There was also the fact that everyone risked their lives to get the map of the dragon vein that was not in his hands. And the disappearance of his father has been silent for many years. Lin Fan is sure that these things have problems, maybe it's because he doesn't fully understand. If his father's disappearance was related to the forces that wanted to steal the map of the dragon veins, he would definitely crush them. Thinking about it, teachers and classmates called Lin Fan, but he didn't listen. The teacher asked her classmate Lam she is just a teacher asking questions, not to the point of being crushed. Lin Fan apologized to her for disturbing the class, his crush was right. The teacher said he was so young that he didn't deserve to be squashed, but the question still needed to be answered. Otherwise, she would directly deduct his semester grades. If Lin Fan couldn't graduate, don't blame her. But as expected, the extremely difficult questions of teacher Lin Fan could all be answered. Fortunately, last time he had the ability to learn by rote. After answering the question, Lin Fan asked the teacher's permission to let him go to the bathroom. Inside the restroom Lin Fan thinks about the graduate from the martial arts department. When going beyond the platform enough to make a big deal in today's society. But there is also a group of elites who just graduated and went straight to the army to sleep to serve. So if he successfully entered the martial arts department, he would have a chance to enter the army. Then he could learn more about the reasons for his father's disappearance. Outside the toilet, a few of Lin Fan's juniors heard the noises inside his bathroom and couldn't help but talk. Inside the room was the headmaster Mu who came to find Lin Fan. She asked why he was sitting alone in the toilet. She asked Lin Fan if she still remembered who she was. Lin Fan whispered to the headmaster, Mu this is the men's restroom. She said it seems his memory is not bad. The bet from last time is about to be made. It's been quite a few days since last time, it's time to arrange the transfer exam for Lin Fan. But Mu was still quite opposed to him transferring into the martial arts arsenal. She said that there had never been a student like him who had come in through his connections so far. The purpose of the establishment of this faculty is to cultivate the nation's top elites. According to her words, absolutely do not harbor any small shrimp. After listening to this, Lin Fan secretly laughed in his heart. Are they all really elite? He remembered the elites he'd met the night before. The whole bunch of demonic monsters, but also thick-skinned to say they are elite. Although Lin Fan only spoke softly, it all went to Mu-er's ears. She punched the wall hard enough to make the wall crack. She said that Lin Fan hasn't even entered the department yet and is already talking like this. Mu-er said, wouldn't it be even more extravagant to get in? Temporarily do not speak martial arts, but not even the most basic politeness. Whether he passed or not, she still thought that he was not qualified to enter the martial arts department. She despises that getting into college must not have been easy for him and his parents. Lin Fan said that as a student, if he made a mistake, he would admit his mistake and correct it. But he begged her not to drag his parents in. She asks him to prove his strength in the competition. When Xiao Mei Mei heard that Mu-er went to the men's restroom to find Lin Fan, she was extremely angry. Lin Fan said she didn't do anything too much. Just to let you know, I'll be at the official admission at 12 o'clock. He wants Xiao Mei Mei to quickly talk about political issues, whether there are some things like a reference exam for the martial arts exam. Xiao Mei Mei said no. When she was in high school, she was specially nominated to participate in the national enrollment of Shenzhou University. If the first faculty reincarnation is a fourth-year student like you, the next one is a graduate student in the martial arts department. And she is not familiar with PhD students. Lin Fan can't just go to the exam like a fool. He felt that in these 2 hours he could do something. Xiao Mei Mei said that it's really okay to not have a reference exam. The martial arts faculty is, to put it bluntly, an all-powerful, elite talent who is proficient in martial arts. Moreover, the exam questions are different every year. Students with genius potential in all 360 categories are very important to the country. The participants were all geniuses of extremely high rank. After all, it includes virtue, intelligence, body, beauty, labor, etc. She thinks that his advantage in knowledge and body is very likely to enter the martial arts department. But Lin Fan heard that the exam was very tough. Usually the first round eliminated a bunch of people. Xiao Mei Mei asks Lin Fan to rest assured that he will not be eliminated because he is very good in her heart. The principal appeared behind the two of them and told them not to be overconfident. Xiao Mei Mei said that if she didn't think he was the principal, she wouldn't dare hit him. The principal asked Xiao Mei Mei not to be angry if she got sick. It wouldn't be good to eat the mango he gave her. Lin Fan was also shocked and thought that there was a villain to cause trouble. He asked the great lady like you not to incite others. Getting into the martial arts department is not easy. After talking for a while, Xiao Mei Mei finally decided to register for the contest with Lin Fan. Gymnasium Building A at Shenzhou University. Chairman Mu-er looked around and said there were only a few people this year. The principal asked why she said this, but there were only a few people like in what she just said. She meant people who were actually qualified to participate. This year's contestants are just a bunch of junkies who came to try their luck. Mu-er said she has always admired his leadership motto. But this time, he broke the rule for even people who were not in the martial arts department to participate in the graduate student competition. She still had some doubts whether he was supporting Lin Fan or not. The principal asks the headmaster to trust his decision. She will not be disappointed. She didn't want to say too much. This year she will definitely do her best to select a truly capable elite for the country. Absolutely do not let anyone discuss any evil religion. The principal laughed. She always did. At this time, Lin Fan and Xiao Mei Mei arrived. He did not expect the number to be so large. Lin Fan thought the exam was for him alone, but it was so crowded. Xiao Mei Mei said that this is a graduate student exam of the martial arts department, which, of course, must be crowded. They were originally students of the martial arts department. After graduating, there is always a job that eats well and dresses well, but most of them have great ambitions and are not satisfied with just that. After all, a genius who refuses to live with the majority of ordinary people in society. They wanted to surpass themselves, so they came here. While the two were talking, a young boy called out to the two of them. Lin Fan patted the boy's head and told him not to come and make a mess. Scared everyone around, Xiao Mei Mei quickly told him that the person was the general director of the martial arts department, more famous than the vice president Mu-er. Before the general manager left, he asked Lin Fan to pass the exam well. Don't disappoint the principal, he expects a lot from you. Lin Fan said that he would definitely try. If he did anything wrong, he asked for his generosity. Xiao Mei Mei told him to leave, now he must leave it to God. People around called Lin Fan an idiot, joking that they didn't know what to look at. Even if the homeroom magnanimously did not kick him out. But the martial arts department has many masters, his elimination is sooner or later. Xiao Chao appeared and said that Lin Fan is still as dumb as ever. Xiao Mei Mei asks why her brother is here. He said that there is no one in the martial arts department who has graduated from the martial arts department who is committed to living with ordinary people in society. He soon heard that the principal had nominated Lin Fan to take the exam, and this time he had come not just for his PhD. But Xiao Chao wants to reclaim his previous debt with Tiu Fan. Xiao Chao has always cultivated, in addition to eating and entertaining, the rest of the time is intense practice without rest. He said he wouldn't let Lin Fan ride his neck anymore. He had to stand on the top to become the ceiling of battle for everyone to tremble. The first person who felt the fear after he changed must be Lin Fan. At this time, the competition was ready, everyone was present. Mu wanted to make the stage a little more compact before that. One said the vice president was too picky. According to her, this job is taking responsibility for the future of society and the country. She informed the students that the competition was about to begin. She wanted the students present here to form a line. Within 3 seconds, please stand up straight or else you will be eliminated. Then she began to eliminate them one by one with very absurd excuses. Made the students very angry. There was a person Mu wanted to get rid of. He said that if she eliminated him, she had to think carefully about the consequences. If she eliminated him, it would definitely be the most serious loss in the history of Shenzhou University. He has more achievements than people, has participated in all kinds of competitions at home and abroad and won prizes. Every year, thanks to his own strength, he won a full scholarship. His intellectual and physical beauty were all up to the mark. He asked her where she was not satisfied. If you get rid of him, you have to give him a good reason to respect him. Mu said the reason was because he was too ugly, totally ugly. He asked her if it was fair to use this as an excuse to disqualify him. He didn't want to ask if the people around him were really ugly. He appealed to his schoolmates of many years, to listen to his conscience and tell him. In my heart, there are many close college friends here. He's always been popular with people over the years, he thinks they'll definitely help. But people say he's done with plastic surgery and comes back next year. He's not handsome but he is fat. Xiao Mei Mei whispers this as an excuse to kick people out. Mu said that all Shenzhou University students present here need to develop high quality all round. Except for mastering martial arts, politeness and virtue in all aspects need to become superior in the elite world. Otherwise, you will not be eligible to become a student of the martial arts department of Shenzhou University. The first round of the competition, the writing competition, begins. When I opened the question paper, Lin Fan scolded me. It was an elementary school exam. But something's not right, people around don't do. More than half of people don't. Lin Fan didn't know there was anything suspicious, but let's do it first. Suddenly, the girl in front of Lin Fan fell to the ground clutching her chest and crying out in pain. I don't know if this person is having a heart attack or not. The other person next to him said he didn't know someone from the school's medical team would come to help. Now the two of them need to take the test first. Lin Fan doesn't understand what's going on, but it's too bad to be sick at this time. Someone swore loudly, saying his wound was torn. Some people cough until they can't breathe. It takes a while to know that the person has relapsed into tuberculosis at an important time. Another called for help because of stomach bleeding. Someone else asked for asthma medicine. He was about to get over it. Lin Fan heard the screams around him and felt like he was in the emergency room. People started to talk about it. When it's serious like this, so many people get sick. No one knows what the cause is. They should have checked their health before taking the exam. Everyone decided to do the first lesson without wasting any more time. The girl nearby shouted to the person with tuberculosis not to come near her. In a situation like this, no matter how easy the question was, it was difficult to concentrate. Lin Fan also went to the sick people to see how they were doing. Among them were 2 people who risked skipping their own exams to save lives. When one sees that the person is about to succumb to a critical situation, it seems that emergency measures must be used. Traditional cough treatment, clearing heat, detoxifying, activating blood chemistry. After what the other 2 did, the patient was no longer coughing up blood. That person told the sick person not to worry if they still cough, there are other folk ways. Lin Fan thought what the hell was wrong with so many contestants getting sick during the exam. Isn't it necessary to determine health before the exam? There are also some students who still do their homework like cold-blooded animals. Lin Fan also had to return to finish his exam. The guy nearby asked Lin Fan to continue doing his homework and stop caring about his surroundings. This is the trap that Mu-er arranged this time, the old trap she used. He said that this writing exam at first glance makes people think it's an elementary school exam, but it's actually unrelated. This time it was testing them while on a quest, whether it is disturbed by the surrounding circumstances or not, or even stops performing the task. Mu-er comes from a military background. Her motto is obedience and absolute obedience. The mission that cannot be completed for a soldier is an insult. Mu-er intentionally cancelled the health check, arranged a lot of people pretending to be sick to mix in this exam. Some candidates think, is this challenging me to give up the test to help my friends? But such a rigid Mu-er, it is impossible to come up with such a tasteless topic. He again affirmed that the exam this time was the observance of steadfast will. But it's not something that the high virtues of compassion come to support. He said that those people were very healthy but that there was no disease at all. He asked Lin Fan to put his heart of wanting to help his people in and continue with his exam. Not doing the test but running to help those people pretending to be sick only makes Mu-er happy because he eliminated the contestant. Lin Fan made a like button for him, so cool. He was pleased that a simple challenge like this had been seen through by him a long time ago. The two of you consider it to be destined to overcome it. But next to it was a girl who was in pain being helped by Xiao Mei Mei. Lin Fan said this girl seems to have a real problem, it doesn't look like she's pretending. Lin Fan ignored what he said and went to help that girl. When she finished saving that girl, Xiao Mei Mei spoke out her point of view. This time she was sure that Mu-er wanted to test everyone's compassion. Lin Fan really didn't know who to listen to and was told that time was up. Mu-er announced that the exam time was over, the writing contest ended. She told them to start testing the results now. First she will announce the exam paper, the stage that everyone is most looking forward to. Everyone present here is, after all, the most outstanding student of Shenzhou University. The writing is so simple, yet so chaotic. This test is a test of judgment. Lin Fan was amazed at his judgment. Xiao Mei Mei told him not to stress and listen first. She is sure that many people have found out why this exam does not have a physical examination first. Every year, a large number of people with poor health come to participate. According to regulations, they are eliminated from the registration round. This year, she deliberately cancelled it because sick people were an important part of this judgment test. Mu-er said even the focus of the test without paying attention. Those who risked their lives to solve problems that a 3-year-old could do were eliminated. Even teammates who don't care don't deserve to stay in the elite place. Those who were eliminated all cursed wildly in the written exam, still playing the 3 traps downstream. In addition, she arranged a group of sick people corresponding to the sick candidate to deceive. That's to see in this 10-minute rush, who can spot which teammates really need help. In other words, if it is possible to find someone who really needs help among the sick candidates, they will pass the test. If the wrong judgment helps those who do not need help, they will be disqualified. When Xiao Mei Mei heard it, she was happy that the two of them had hope. Xiao Chao was praised by Mu-er as an excellent person. Timely make accurate judgments, provide timely solid help to teammates in danger. That is the most basic talent that a true elite genius must have. After talking about Xiao Chao, it was the turn of the two brothers. Mu-er has a special compliment for the two cousins, well done. The two of them were very happy to hear that, they have stabilized your health. Expected to be able to recover within half a year, please rest assured. Mu-er went on to say that 2 people can torment a living person to the point of death. There is a future to become a combat force for the army and there is an immeasurable future. When the two cousins heard this, they felt that something was not right. They said the vice president was wrong, this guy is really unwell. This person even broke out in a cold sweat and coughed up blood. Mu-er said that it was the actor she arranged. What the two said proved that he acted well. The problem is so simple that it can't be figured out. She said that if she graduated, she had the opportunity to work in big fields such as commerce, medicine or even the military. Then the pitifully weak judgment of the two could pose a danger that could not be reversed at any time. Even put the person next to you in a dangerous situation. Shenzhou University will not contribute trash like the two of you to the country. The two of them were angry at the writing exam, but they also played a lowly and petty game. She's here deliberately digging for traces to get rid of people. Next, Mu mentioned Lin Fan and Xiao Mei Mei's group. She said Lin Fan's luck was not bad. Depending on luck is also a part of strength, but it only accounts for 1% anyway. The strong don't need that little bit of luck at all. Mu said that he was able to get through the first round because of the contagion. Just waiting and watching this next round will make life worse than death. Take advantage of the break. Lin Fan goes inside the toilet to withdraw from the system. When he came out of the bathroom to see the pile of wontons, everyone was surprised. Lo announced that the break time was almost over, the second round was about to start, and the contestants returned to their positions. Mu said a 20-minute break was enough for everyone to regroup. From this round on, she will cause everyone's mental and physical pain to the point of excruciating pain. The title of genius is also very heavy, whether you can bear it or not depends on everyone. In addition to their 3 main judges, shareholders and leaders will also evaluate everyone's performance. The second round begins, testing the strength of the physical foundation of the first category, the short distance run of 200 meters. A team of 5 contestants with just a flash of gunfire will start running. Whoever finishes in 15 seconds wins. Everyone below has the opportunity to be angry again. This 15 seconds is deliberately causing trouble. Mu reminded her if she dared to talk nonsense, she would eliminate that person. The contestant with Lin Fan did not stop using words of contempt for him. I heard that you study normal science and want to move here. He called a nerd like you to sit and eat books peacefully. The stupid face that doesn't know whether to live or die but to enter the martial arts store will only lose face. He went on to say that he was too naive to think that he could succeed in martial arts. Lin Fan said he talked too much and was too quick to focus on his competition. He was even more extravagant when he talked about the contest. Don't see him wearing glasses and looking like a student. This young master, he is the only legitimate heir of Koka Ryu Ninjutsu Namba Uruk. The essence of Namba Taijutsu had been transformed from his human identity. The lightness and speed of his ninja had absolute superiority. After graduating, he was extremely proud of his ability to become the world's fastest short-distance runner. The race started. The one who always despised Lin Fan was indeed in the lead. He had a unique running position. Swinging arms back will greatly reduce airflow resistance. In addition to the right eating and sleeping habits, the body condition is extremely good. He will exhibit incredible speed like a train, but no express train will not catch up. Everyone said that Lin Fan's desire to win was a pipe dream. Everyone saw that the four-eyed guy wasn't simple, even though he acted like an idiot. But the speed is not bad, even more than many people. Xiao Mei Mei used her naked eyes to see his movements but couldn't keep up. She began to worry that with only 15 seconds, Lin Fan would change the situation. Mu also looked at him without blinking. The perfect combination of practice and theory, unleashing endless transcendent speed. After graduation will be able to shine in all fields. This was the elite student of the martial arts department she had always wanted. After that, he did not forget to laugh at Lin Fan, saying that his luck was about to run out. Xiao Chao said that no matter how good Lin Fan is at fighting, it's useless. You must combine your limbs and mind to enter the bloody cultivation arena. This place does not contain the development of a stupid mind. But how the hell is the first person to finish as Lin Fan, making everyone extremely surprised. The dean of the department told the principal Lin Fan was also good. Mu couldn't believe that speed was about to catch up with her. It was difficult for her to understand clearly that his profile was unremarkable. A college student with such a physique, she didn't know what kind of background Lin Fan had in the end. Lin Fan now stood to the side to breathe a sigh of relief, almost lost. Moreover, all the students present were very surprised with Lin Fan. Speaker announced that the first group Lin Fan won. The four-eyed guy asked him what he did in the end. Lin Fan said it was simple, just pass him. The people who followed him were also furious and scolded him for not being able to lose to him. The speed of their brothers and sisters returning home this new year does not need to buy an express train ticket. Lin Fan said it's actually not easy to do that. Just go to bed early, get up early, exercise regularly, eat right, and limit fatty foods. In addition, we also need to respect the elderly, love the young, and help the elderly a little. Lin Fan said that he persisted for 10 years like this. Can they do it? After Lin Fan finished speaking, everyone didn't believe him, saying that he must have injected drugs. Xiao Mei Mei, when I heard Lin Fan's answer, I also wanted to hit people, he was too dumb. Lin Fan said it was actually more specific, but he only said it later. But actually, Lin Fan thought he wasn't stupid enough to tell everyone about it. Fortunately, he took advantage of 20 minutes during the break to sneak into the toilet to withdraw the prize. Although she wasted a lot of wonton bowls, in order to get into the martial arts department and also because of her father, Lin Fan withdrew a lot. Luckily finally got the chance to upgrade the Sprint Genius to 3 stars. If not, he would have been eliminated by now. If this was revealed, it would be considered cheating. The four-eyed guy was still very angry, an ordinary college student with such explosive power and speed. It soon became a martial arts legend. Mu observes Lin Fan thinking to quickly finish this category and then move on to the next so that she can find out his strength. The second item of the second round was the spot long jump. Adding 100 on-site bounce, 80 meters onwards is considered to be achieved. Xiao Mei Mei scolds this mother. Where is the problem? Xiao Chao just finished the 200-meter race but was out of breath and needed someone to help. Lin Fan asked Xiao Mei Mei if her brother was so weak. Xiao Mei Mei doesn't even look at him, saying that his brother has been working so hard these days, it's okay to rest a bit. The first contestant to be called into position, he thought 100 meters was not difficult. The people standing beside him cheered non-stop. He began to worry that he had never jumped that far. Many people are looking at him like this, he has to think of a way not to lose face. Lin Fan saw him being cheered by many people and asked him what his background was. Xiao Mei Mei knows this person as an excellent student in all 10 categories of the martial arts department. As a well-known person in the department, the predestined relationship is also very good even though he likes to do color. But to enter the martial arts department, there must be a few skills. To see how he will pass, everyone improvise. He told himself that in order to keep the pride of his 10th class almighty student, he had to make it through. Surprised Lin Fan is indeed an excellent student. Xiao Mei Mei asks him not to be too surprised but to pay attention to his methods. No one knows what kind of devilish move it is that moves so fast, like a human helicopter. But when measuring the results, everyone was shocked, but he did not meet the requirements. Everyone started to worry, even he was worried, so what about everyone? Even though he had tears in his eyes, he still tried to look calm, but he couldn't do it. Lin Fan felt that the exam was not prepared in advance. The exam questions were like they were given. Looks like Mu purposely made it difficult for him. The homeroom teacher, after seeing that there were too many eliminated candidates but no one had completed, immediately felt anxious. He told Mu the difficulty was too high for the contestants. She calmly said that to choose a good person. Lin Fan very quickly it was his turn to be called up for the contest. Right now, he can only take risks for his father. I don't know if he can still hold on with that skill. 100 meters is not a simple matter for Lin Fan, but this time, she must do her best. After Lin Fan performed his part of the exam, the whole school seemed to be bursting. Everyone shouted, not believing the truth. Even Mu's eyes widened. Xiao Mei Mei standing outside smiling happily, her husband is too good. The dean of the department standing above his mouth also laughed along with this boy, which is not bad. Mu reacted at this point, damn it, with Lin Fan's ability, how can it be? She doesn't believe in the truth, thinking there must be a problem. Lin Fan was unable to pull his feet off the ground due to overexertion. The Balala system mocked him for stopping too much. When he pulled his foot to his mouth, he couldn't stop screaming in pain until he got injured. Balala says it's harder to make him a genius now than to go to heaven. After Lin Fan finished the exam, looking at the people behind the exam, she thought that she was just trying to solve difficult problems. He is the Wonton Prince who upgraded the innate divine power. This time Lin Fan had enough speed and power. He is confident that he can handle all 10 categories in round 2. Mu's third category is the 100-meter high jump. She was pleased to see how long he lasted. However, Lin Fan was able to pass easily. Lin Fan replied to her question that he could last a very long time. Mu did not understand why. Why does an ordinary nerd like him have such strong qualities? Lin Fan uses answers that make listeners angry. Because he eats frugally, a healthy stomach is not hot in his body. After that, he succeeded in all subsequent tests. Lin Fan tried to pass the exam one by one. He told himself the time he had to find his father again. Xiao Mei Mei stood outside watching Lin Fan, repeatedly calling him too cool. Category 6 is pole vaulting 500 meters, Category 7 hurdles 1000 meters. Everyone finally finished 10 categories in round 2. Everyone was so tired that they couldn't breathe and lay down on the ground. Someone shouted, damn this pervert. If they ask questions later, he will never take the exam again. Everyone can't breathe, it's too hard to do it. And Mu-er at this moment is extremely angry with that son of a bitch for doing it all. Lin Fan saw that the score from the system was added a lot from everyone's emotions changed because of him. It's not bad, didn't expect things to be so favorable. Lin Fan doesn't know how Xiao Mei Mei is with Xiao Mei right now. Suddenly, a strong force came from someone's hand and patted Lin Fan's shoulder. Xiao Mei Mei is happy to say that she passed, just a little exhausted. Lin Fan looked at her pale face and was a bit scary. Xiao Chao also went to tell his brother that he passed and that he would hold out to the end. He will definitely defeat Lin Fan with his own hands, he just thinks he's crazy. Lin Fan asked Xiao Mei Mei to hurry up and rest first. The homeroom teacher always followed Lin Fan's gaze, saying that if he entered the martial arts department, he would definitely be the #1 outstanding student. The principal laughed so hard that he nominated him to participate. To be honest, he didn't expect this kid to pass. It's clear that the exam question is Mu-er messing around to make it difficult for Lin Fan. She said the students in this department really let her down. In my heart, I cursed at the trash. I didn't expect them to be as good as a wonton cook. The third round is about to start, which is the combined battle round. There is no rule that whoever falls first will lose. Lin Fan's turn. Mu-er told him not to die. She loves her students very much. In her heart, Mu-er secretly thought that this time, arrange a fierce person to let Lin Fan know. This is one of the students that she respects very much. Almost every year when she competes in real combat, she gets the maximum score. Every semester Mu-er personally trains him in combat. His physical strength and fighting prowess has always maintained a high standard. Mu-er wanted to see if he died this time. She thought if a half-hearted guy like him got into the martial arts department, wouldn't that destroy the long-standing selection rule? Xiao Chao stood below the stage, pleased with this guy. If he went to the stage, Lin Fan would die. Xiao Mei Mei had already guessed that he would make it to the third round, but did not expect him to be Lin Fan's opponent. When the new martial arts department was established, she was alone. She also invited him to join but was rejected by him. He really had that confidence, but it was really annoying to look at. As soon as he entered the field, he was teased by Lin Fan, telling him not to be tall without pretending to be tall. He said it was hard to blame Vice President Mu-er for hating him so much. He scolded me for being typical childish. Entering the hall of the elite with such a rural appearance, no one likes it. Lin Fan asked him to speak politely, not to be so harsh. Although he was the one who was transferred, he had physical strength and would not embarrass the martial arts department. He still exuded contempt, saying how familiar the smell of the weak was. He told Lin Fan that he was an unlucky person in 8 lives. But don't let him talk too much. One of Lin Fan's moves made him fall to the ground. After that, Lin Fan alone defeated all the others. Mu-er said it wouldn't be too easy for Lin Fan to get into the martial arts department with just that. After listening to this, Lin Fan thought that he also felt really light. To fulfill the responsibility of recruiting talent, she said she has the right and also considers it necessary to monitor and check the quality of talent. Mu-er says she will personally fight him and test him one last time. Lin Fan asked if this was another topic she made on the spot to make things difficult for him. She is not willing to let an economics student who sells wonton enter the martial arts department. She said letting him enter the martial arts department so easily was very unfair to the other students. The homeroom teacher was at a loss for words at this time. The principal didn't know what to say to her. She didn't know why a nerd like you had such skill and physique. Maybe it's a pagan sect, even a stimulant. Before she found out all his tricks, she would absolutely not let him in. Lin Fan has always respected her because she is a teacher, but now it seems that she has to apologize to her. The two entered the battle, neither willing to yield to anyone. She acknowledged his speed, but it was only the best among the students. He was still not a genius. Just as she said, Lin Fan fell to the ground after a while. Mu-er looked at Lin Fan on the ground and said that she talked a bit frankly. Hope you don't take it to heart. You should be honest, don't go to places you shouldn't go. Mortals should not think that climbing high through the genius window will get dirty. So the distance between genius and mortal is forever incomparable. The background determines the fate, class, and how the family will give birth to such a child. Mu-er emphasized every single word in her eyes. He was trash. Lin Fan's mind was repeating her words over and over again, trash. Xiao Mei Mei feels that she talks too much. Even Xiao Chao's girlfriend standing next to her couldn't hear it. This is what a teacher should say. The principal now cried without tears. She scolded the students for being trash. He was about to be complained by his parents. The homeroom teacher stood next to him and asked him to calm down. Mu-er asked Lin Fan to stand up and continue to fight until one side collapsed and couldn't get up. Lin Fan said it's a bit cruel what the vice president did. To be honest, he is a bit poor, but he dares to admit that he is quite progressive. He will definitely enter the martial arts department. Not only for his father, but he also has to prove to her that anyone is capable. Lin Fan took out a candy and began to eat it, but his mouth was so loud that his lips were dry. If your lips are dry, you will only wet your lips. It's just eating candy. There's no rule that you can't eat candy during the exam. This candy is a new prop I pulled from the toilet during recess. If he couldn't fight back, he had to improvise. Culture Lollipop can transfer attack. Balala asks Lin Fan to stop coloring and quickly choose a target to transfer attack. The target that Lin Fan wants to move is of course Mu-er. As she started to hit, Lin Fan didn't feel any real pain. Balala says because the one who is sick is his deputy homeroom teacher. People who eat candy will be transferred all feelings of pain. All attacks and pain will be transferred to the selected target. She now finds it difficult to understand that not only did he block her kicks and punches, but now she is also in pain. Why is this guy's defense so strong? Everyone was surprised to see a student fighting against Mu-er for the first time. The principal's eyes were wide open, waiting for him to enter the martial arts department. He could train well. Mu-er has never been this scary. She asked Lin Fan's attitude that she was laughing at her. Lin Fan said he didn't laugh, but she kicked Lin Fan hard in the face. Lin Fan shouted that he was in pain, pretending to be in pain to give her some face. But this blow knocked the mask off her face, scaring the principal and the homeroom teacher. This is the first time she has seen the vice president's face without a mask. Lin Fan apologized to her. He really didn't mean it. Mu-er yelled at "You really feel the need, you bastard." Lin Fan feels that he is in big trouble this time. If the mask opens down, it's not just opening the seal. Except for the force majeure factor, if someone opens the mask, Mu-er must stay with that person for life. Unless you volunteer at the price of a lifetime. The principal didn't expect such a good thing. He should have found an opportunity to remove her mask before. Lin Fan at this time still doesn't know how to think it's just a mask and put it back on. She said it's okay to not judge yourself, it's okay to look down on adults. But arbitrarily changing the lives of others is definitely not forgiven. She approached Lin Fan and said he had reached her limit. Lin Fan thought, just let her go and hit her anyway, the damage will be transferred anyway. But when she really hit Lin Fan, she took all the pain. Balala explained because the effect of the candy is only 3 minutes. This power is so terrible that it will definitely beat him to death, so he has to quickly eat another candy. The chairman said that now that Mu-er had lost the will to continue fighting, it would be a big deal. Unexpectedly, when Lin Fan was eating candy, the principal came to find him. When the system asked him to quickly choose a target, he was calling the principal at the same time. The first name spoken within 10 seconds will default to the transfer target. Lin Fan tries to ask if the system can change it, or pretend he hasn't eaten the candy. But now there is no time to change it anymore, then the principal will be the one to end his life. Balala told him to suffer too, who told him not to focus on his own. At this time, Mu-er caught the fish, and the principal also fell to the ground. He clutched his head and asked who did the sneak attack. Lin Fan asked her to stop quickly or she would die. But she doesn't want to stop, dare to fight her, she should know the consequences in advance. The headmaster's face is now covered with blood, who is so evil, he's old, but he can't forgive. Lin Fan tried to dodge the blow and shouted asking the principal if he was okay. He weakly replied that he couldn't hold on, he just wanted to know who was so maliciously sneaking up on him. The headmaster flew to the principal's side to see the situation. There was no killing intent around, but after a while, looking at the battle going on, perhaps I understood the problem. Xiao Mei Mei couldn't help but be surprised. Lin Fan is being beaten and the principal has a reaction. Lin Fan asked Mu-er to stop temporarily, the vice president just wanted to get rid of him. Then compare your wrists. If Lin Fan loses, he will automatically withdraw. Lin Fan thought about it all, and had to take advantage of her reflexology. But unexpectedly, she realized that he was trying to point her acupressure point and wanted to give a decisive blow to Lin Fan. The principal lay on the ground with tears mixed with blood. Let him die with a decisive blow, humanity is not worth it. The homeroom went to use magic to tie her up, enough to calm down. This exam has already gone astray, because her one-sidedness and impulsiveness have become a place to vent personal resentment. The dean of the department apologized to everyone for this year's exam incident. He ordered the medical staff to take the principal to the hospital for treatment first. As for him, although all three passed the exam, he and Mu both felt that the results of this exam were a bit suspicious. This year's exam was also full of mistakes. He had never seen such chaos in the PhD exam before. It can be said that this is the most unreliable talent selection in the history of the martial arts department. The two girls standing outside both felt like they were dead, should they have to take the exam again. He told me not to worry if he passed. He passed and he didn't make it difficult for everyone. The two female friends are no problem anyways from the martial arts department, and Lin Fan makes him a little hard to believe. Lin Fan told the homeroom he wasn't playing tricks. The homeroom teacher wanted to hear what it was like when Lin Fan was beaten and the principal was also beaten. Lin Fan smiled and replied that he didn't know, he must have been related to the principal. The homeroom continued to ask that if he was injured again, what would happen to the principal. Lin Fan worriedly said no, in fact it is okay. He had just finished speaking when he received an attack from the homeroom. Lin Fan secretly swore that both homerooms had violent tendencies. He didn't know where he ended up offending them. The chairman called before 12 o'clock tomorrow. He remembered to go to the education room to make a transfer file. The dean thought the speed, power, reaction and defense weren't bad either. The headmaster's eyes are also terrible. But the host feels that Lin Fan is very similar to that person. When Lin Fan and Xiao Mei Mei returned, they were both very happy when the exam was successful. After Xiao Mei Mei left, Lin Fan was electrocuted by the Balala system for being lustful. Everything that happened was seen by the two people standing at the top. Balala warned Lin Fan to hit him again and he would continue to shock him. Lin Fan swaggered and decided to spare him this time. Balala lamented why he chose this green-bearded demon as host. Lin Fan saw that there was no class this afternoon and decided to go back to sleep. Balala asks him to help the wonton shop. But no need, the night before going to the Biao family's house, he had drawn a lot of wontons. Currently, those wontons are still stored in the restaurant's kitchen. Lin Fan took out her phone to see if there was any news, and when she saw a message from Zhao Ling Yu, she immediately ran away. Balala asked him what was on his mind to run so fast. It was Zhao Ling Yu who wanted to talk to him about the map of Dragon Veins. She also sent a message to Lin Fan from 40 minutes ago. He needed to hurry to Zhao's house. But suddenly Lin Fan felt the wind approaching, who came to cause trouble again. Lin Fan now really wants to swear at one and then the other. But unexpectedly when he turned his head, that person knelt down on the ground and called him Big Brother. He asks you to accept a bow from him. He is a third-year student in software engineering. He asked Lin Fan to accept him as his disciple so that he could learn more. It turned out that he witnessed Lin Fan's whole exam process. It was really good. He also wanted to enter the martial arts department, but unfortunately, he was just a student of an ordinary major. When he saw him with Xiao Mei Mei, he guessed that there was an umbrella. Thank you, because Lin Fan has both the umbrella and the ability. Finally told him what he wanted, to get his help to get to the back door. After a while, Lin Fan chased him away, but another person came. But the person who came later was in the back putting the weapon on Lin Fan. This is the real deal this time. Lin Fan quickly turned around to attack the approaching thing instead of being attacked first. Lin Fan said that villains who like to stab people in the back like them are the most annoying thing. Just as he finished speaking, another man came to attack. Lin Fan pulled their robes off. He wanted to see their cruel faces. Lin Fan asked that this look is not a magician. The first thing the two of them said to him was that being close friends was not bad. Next, when they mentioned K, it was difficult to avoid Q's defeat again. The two of them pulled down their hoods while saying that they usually kill people like killing ants. Sometimes it's not bad to have a mouse like you to play with. Lin Fan asked why the two of them wanted to kill him, also what relationship they had with K. The girl said that if he could ask that, then he would know why the two of you came here. Q's task of making him deliver the map of Dragon Circuit within 10 days was accepted by the two girls. She said if she didn't hand it over, she'd tear your body apart. She even let Lin Fan know that she's not as useless as K. Lin Fan replied that he really didn't have that Dragon Circuit map. After hearing that, she said exactly what K had told the two of them. They say Lin Fan is the typical type of person who hasn't seen a coffin yet shed tears. Today, the two of them will definitely have to execute him to get the map of the Dragon Circuit according to the mission that K has assigned. One of the girls came up and said that he looks like he can fight, so she won't despise the enemy anymore. When she started, she would make the enemy live worse than death. That was also her style. She definitely won't be as lazy as Kay, who came to fight in the past. If Lin Fan didn't drink celebratory wine, the two of them could only give punishment wine. The older sister said that no matter how good Lin Fan's relatives are, there are still loopholes. The younger sister called out when the two cousins had not launched a fatal move, but the brother handed over the map of Long Mok. This is just a warning that if you still don't agree, the two of them will tear Lin Fan's body into 8 pieces. Lin Fan is still wondering why her sister's close friend is so fast. I'm wondering if it all has to do with the cat ears your aunt is wearing. She seemed to read Lin Fan's mind. She guessed that he had a lot of questions about the cat ears she was wearing. It was the exact mini-computer she built, comparable to the fastest supercomputer in the world. It is also paired with her own GPS satellite. She told Lin Fan that no matter how fast he was, she would be able to locate it accurately. From there, the perfect judgment of his movements. She asked for the last time where his Dragon Vein map was. Lin Fan decided to run away from there. It was absolutely impossible for them to know where the map of Dragon Circuit is. But he didn't run long before his sister caught him. He felt something was wrong. There are too many sprint champions these days. Balala says this doesn't count as her speed but the computer's control. After all, it is a supercomputer. Being able to clearly capture Lin Fan's actions is not unusual. Balala couldn't check for any sign of living things on her body. Although Lin Fan's speed is not equal to the computer's speed, this girl has been overworked and has started to eat. Balala instructs Lin Fan to just try to dodge the attack. Prolonging the time until her body is exhausted is already half the victory. But for the time being, he still doesn't know his sister's secret, so he solves the older sister first.